We must stop the terror.
Millennial.
I call upon all nations to do everything they can
Media.
to stop these terrorist killers.
Offensive.
Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Start new wars. Now watch this drive.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We came, we saw, he died.
Pour gasoline on the flames of ethnic and religious division.
We'll do it live.
Doing it live. 365. Open up your eyes. There's a war for your mind. Our words are often kind. Hey, I just thought of something that we should have thought about a long time ago. It would settle who likes who more. Do more people like John G. Do, or do more people like Dan Gehring? And you could denote this by sending in a do nation, right? A do nation, get it? I just haven't thought of my version of that yet. A Dan nation. Dan. I think it's a good idea. Johnny, how you doing? Door slam.
I hate to burst your bubble, but I would say people probably like you better.
I don't think they like me better necessarily. I think people like you. I think you get a quirky character. I'm just the fun guy that makes dick and ball jokes all the time. You get angry.
Yeah, it's fine. People like you. You're lovable.
That's why my wife likes me, I think. I think she's just dating me for this podcast money, if I'm being honest with you.
You know, there is an inherent attraction to men with social status, and in our day and age, there is little better means for acquiring social capital.
Yeah, we're super cool with our podcast.
Your wheezing threw me off. I was going to do this with a straight face.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Every time I tell people, specifically my nephews, when I tell them about my podcast, they're like, cool. How many listeners do you have? 4? Okay, dicks. Get out of here. We just got a donation that I'm going to record quick before we start. Thank you, Nail Lord of Gaylord. We were worried about you for a second there. Venmo. He's one of the few people that sends in through Venmo, but it's appreciated. Alrighty.
I can't do that or I'll cough.
But you can do that and be fine. Oh, is that your Jar Jar Binks?
That's Yoda.
Okay. We are live on the streaming sites, so if you want to say your thing, we can do that.
Let's get it on.
It must be quite apparent by this time to any thinking individual that the people of our country and people of other countries all over the world are coming to face a moment of grave decision. The time when we will choose the course of our future.
Oklahoma, Texas, New York, Philadelphia, around the world, it's gonna be a big nut bust.
The Millennial Media Offensive podcast is now live.
That's right. Today's September 30th, 2025. You're listening to MMO number 188, and from the great city and state of St. Louis, Missouri. I'm Dan Gehring.
And from America's South Coast, where everybody needs a break, even the federal government. Don't worry about it. I'm John G. Dew.
That is correct. The government shutdown, everyone in CNN, they usually lament about it for days and days and days, and then say that, there was a deal made at midnight. And that's been the historic case for the past 4 years where it's been happening. But now tonight, everyone is convinced it's actually going to shut down. And Trump seems okay with it.
He does. And I think the difference this time is there's no CR, a continuing resolution.
Right.
And if we believe everything that's in the ether right now, there is a CR on the table from the Republicans, who have the majority in the House and the Senate and have the White House. But they don't have enough votes, supermajority, so they can override the filibuster. Something near and dear to my heart. So they can't override the filibuster, so they need some Democrat support to pass a CR or a budget itself. So they're in this deadlock. And the Republicans say they've put forward a CR. They say it's non-political. It's only 30-some pages long. And the Democrats are, standing on principles and not allowing this Republican healthcare crisis created by Republicans to carry on.
They want to continue the CR that they passed, that they approved previously, the Democrats. The Republicans want to continue it. They want to continue funding as it exists today. And the Democrats are saying the Republicans don't want to come to the table. They don't really have
I generally find this pretty boring.
The whole thing is boring. I agree.
It's almost, I won't even say it's almost. It is a manufactured problem so that some cameras point to some old people probably wearing 3 inches of makeup, and they get to say, oh, look at me, I'm standing up for you. I don't look like you, and I sure don't act like you or live like you, but I'm standing up for you, and you should be proud of me, and you should vote for me again. It doesn't matter. Even if I'm in a casket, vote for me again.
Yeah. Hakeem Jeffries was on TV trying to do his best Barack Obama. If I can be certain of nothing.
You didn't build that.
I can be certain of nothing, but I do know that Hakeem Jeffries will never be president of the United States.
He does not have what he
No.
doesn't have it.
Absolutely not. He tries, and he's trying to talk about the Republicans are on vacation. Well, and he did exactly what you just talked about. We're here working for you. We want to make sure that you get the medical care you need. All of this stuff. But yeah, he's trying to pin himself up as this potential running guy. Never. It's never going to work out for you, Hakeem.
No, it won't. I have a couple of clips about this, though, one from PBS and one from CNN, where there's this thing that happened today where, it's shutdown day. Boom, 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 boom. And they've got reporters.
CNN had a ticker on their thing today.
Yes,
the
they had a
countdown to the
countdown. Yeah,
shutdown.
they had a countdown to the shutdown.
Be so scared.
So they, CNN specifically, had Manu Raju on Capitol Hill, and PBS had Lisa DeBeek Desjardins reporting from Capitol Hill. But they had these reporters, on the Hill, and they're giving their reports, their 2-minute TikTok reports, because that's what a lot of this material, even from network news, especially now. What?
That's a nose. You weren't kidding.
No, I wasn't kidding.
Yeah. Wow.
DeBeek. Yeah, I went to college with a girl who looked a lot like her. I don't know if they were related, but they kind of got to be somewhat related to look similar to one another like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. They had their reporters on Capitol Hill, and they're doing their condensed 2-minute report. And we've talked about this before. The template has been moving in this direction where even if you get a longer segment on YouTube or you're watching something on television even, you can tell that there are well-defined 2-minute to 2.5-minute blocks of information.
Yeah.
And it's really great for podcasters, especially people that do a show like us, because a 2-minute clip is perfect. So we've got these 2-minute reports from Capitol Hill, one from PBS, one from CNN. You can play them dealer's choice.
All right, here's PBS from DeBeek.
Hi, this is Lisa Desjardins from the PBS NewsHour. I am in the basement right under the U.S. Capitol, the entrance to the U.S. Capitol, waiting for U.S. senators to talk because obviously we are heading toward a government shutdown right now. The problem is that the House, the Senate, and the President have not all agreed on a continuation of government funding. Here's where we are. House Republicans, with one Democrat helping them, did fund a resolution that would keep government funded for 7 weeks. Doesn't have any policy on it. It's what's usually called a clean CR. But Democrats allege that it's not a clean CR because they say as part of that, Republicans broke an agreement with them that they made last fall to be included in talks. Democrats say they are pushing for health care. At the end of this year, Affordable Care Act subsidies expire for millions of people. Premiums will go up for some people because of that. But this is a major policy disagreement. Many Republicans think those tax credits should expire because they're put in place for COVID. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking toward a shutdown. There's really no chance that they resolve that difference in policy before the shutdown. So what's happening? Agencies are preparing, telling workers who's essential, who's not, who has to come to work, who doesn't. Federal workers will, most of them, not be paid during the shutdown. They will get repaid afterward. Federal contractors will not be repaid. They will lose pay, not make it back.
Oh, no.
I have to tell you, I've covered a lot of these shutdowns. This one, from where we sit right now, feels like it could be a long one. But we have to watch the leaders closely. A lot of pressure on Democrats. They're the ones asking for something during the shutdown.
Ever.
And also on President Trump. Democrats have told him it's really up to him. He's accepted that. And of course, he's watching his approval numbers. This shutdown is about health care, but it is also about how the country sees President Trump.
There you go.
I don't know if I buy that.
What?
I don't know if most people see this shutdown as a fault of Trump's.
I think news agencies are overly represent what people care about. The vast majority of people won't even know about this government shutdown. I'm telling you now. And the vast majority of people won't feel any effects from the government shutdown. You know what happens when the government is running well, which has never happened in the history of this country, save for a couple of years, maybe. Nothing. For me, nothing. You know what happens when it shuts down? Nothing. For me. Maybe I can't call an agency and complain about their authoritarianism, but that's about it. No impact will be felt by this guy.
Yeah, so your Democrats that don't like Trump anyway will say it's Trump's fault, and that's it.
Yep.
All right, Lisa, thank you for that that report. Now let's go over to Manu from CNN.
Manu Raju. Take it away.
The mood is very grim on Capitol Hill right now. At 11:59 p.m. Eastern,
You added this.
Tuesday night, that is
No,
the
I did
deadline
not.
for the two sides to reach a deal and pass legislation to avoid the first government shutdown in more than 6 years. But right now, virtually no one thinks that a shutdown can be averted.
I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing.
Their bill has not one iota of Democratic input.
President Trump's meeting with Senator Chuck Schumer, the top Democrat, and Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, along with the top Republican leaders in the House and the Senate, only seemed to deepen the standoff.
This is purely and simply hostage taking on behalf of the Democrats.
The government shuts down is because Republicans have decided to shut the government down rather than address the healthcare crisis that they've created.
Democrats have been making a series of demands. They want to extend subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, which are due to expire at year's end. They also want to reverse Medicaid cuts that were enacted as part of President Trump's signature domestic policy achievement, his One Big Beautiful Bill Act. They also want to restrain Donald Trump from trying to cut federal spending without the approval of Congress. Republicans say that is a non-starter. They simply want a straight extension of government funding until November 21st.
This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're talking about. I don't know where they're saying this is some huge partisan thing. This is something we do fairly routinely.
Republicans are planning to force vote after vote to simply extend government funding over the next 7 weeks. Their hope is that Democrats in the Senate will ultimately capitulate and agree to pass this bill. So far, Democrats are united, but there is one outspoken voice, Senator John Fetterman.
Right now, it's like you're running the risk of plunging our nation into chaos. Millions and millions of lives will be upended. What kind of message does that send to our country and to our allies and to our enemies as well? That too. It's now we can't effectively work together enough to enforce our shutting government down.
Yeah, it's funny because Fetterman is siding with the Republicans there, but you would have no way of knowing it with that edit.
You mean with the music bed?
No, I mean, the way they phrase it, he technically said, there is one outspoken voice, but after saying that the Democrats are united on this. But, there was no clear distinction to somebody that didn't see the full or doesn't really understand this, that he's siding with the Republicans. Fetterman is, which he has been doing a lot. And I think it's because he's in a red district.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe he's just getting his faculties back.
Right. Maybe his brain has gone back into his head and out of his neck. That's mean. I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, the media has spent all day saying that regardless of what the Republicans say, it's their fault. So.
Well, the Republicans should just force vote after vote after vote. And if anybody wants to know, hey, why are these contractors not being paid? Why are these federal workers not being paid? Why are these services not being carried out that the federal government has promised to carry out? You can just say, well, come in and sit down. We're voting right now for the 11th time, and just see how it goes. See who votes against it.
Well, have you heard the strategy that they think is behind the shutdown? Like why Trump actually wants the shutdown?
Yes, because he has said that it's not good for the Democrats because they can take some irreversible actions as far as making cuts and firing people.
Pretty much Trump-style negotiation.
I take that as a pretty over-the-top threat. I don't know if any of that would be upheld after the fact, that kind of executive action. But, and I don't understand the mechanism he's referencing either, that in a defunded state, the government can be curtailed by the executive in a way that it couldn't be in a fully funded state. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just pass the CR. I think this is what what's his name was. Rand Paul was saying last time there was a government shutdown. Let's pass a CR and then negotiate about this to get the final budget passed. And now they're not even going to do a CR. And I didn't even hear from Rand Paul this week in politics. So usually he's got something to say about this.
Well, Jeffries and Schumer went to the White House and met with the Republican leadership, Trump, Vance, and the folks from Congress. And afterward, they all came out and did their little plea on the White House lawn. The Democrats were saying the Republicans are awful and they want people to die, and that's why they don't want to fund the government. And the Republicans came out and said the Democrats are ridiculous. They're demanding that we spend all of our money on people who aren't Americans, and we're not going to do that.
Yep.
And Trump is playing the games that he usually plays. And he took the video of Schumer and Jeffries on the White House lawn talking to the media, and he gave it a little spice. So there's a language warning here. It's a video with some language in it, but this was posted by the President of the United States, and I don't know if you can pull it up while we're listening to it, just so people can get the visual, but it has Schumer speaking, and Jeffries is behind him with a thick Spanish black mustache and a large festive sombrero.
Where did he post this? Where did he post this?
I saw it on X.
I love seeing people repost things that Donald Trump posts. You're like, no way. Yeah, oh yeah, he did. That's the best. AI caricature of Jeffries amid shutdown. I don't want a story about it. I want to see the AI caricature.
If you go to @real Donald Trump, it's the first thing.
I got it right here. All right. You want me to play the video?
Yeah.
Or play the clip?
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
That's good. That's great. I know he's going to get in some trouble for it.
It's middling.
It's funny. It's funny that he's the president.
The writing could have been better.
Of course the writing could have been better. But it's still funny because it's like our government agencies, everything they do now is a meme. Department of Homeland Security, their Pokemon thing, which was killer. That was, you couldn't have done better than what they did with that.
Yeah, the Pokemon thing was killer. The I forget his name now. The guy who says he's going to kill himself. He's a comedian, or supposedly a comedian. I mean, he is funny, but he's just kind of that.
Oh, Theo Von.
Theo Von, yeah.
He's having a rough go of life right now.
Yeah, they used him in the one that I had you play, but when you played it on the show, it did that thing where you don't hear the first few seconds of the clip you're trying to play on X.
Yeah.
And then it goes into it, so it was just music on the show. And then at the very end of it, it replayed and you could hear it, but it started with him saying, "Heard you got deported, dude. Bye."
Yeah.
And then went into the stats. And he posted and he moaned and he griped about the comedian who talks about rabid drug use and just living as off the wall as you can live, has very nuanced opinions on immigration. And that's fine. I'm sure there are some people who don't have a home on the street right now that have very nuanced opinions on immigration.
Well,
but as a public figure, especially one that is just riding a wave of public sentiment and just grabbing on and saying, "Oh, this is what people are liking right now, so I'm going to do that," you have a chance to be front and center in a premier piece of American propaganda, and you're going to turn your nose up at it.
Well, the funny thing about Theo Von is he had Trump on his show, so he's already been labeled as this right-wing podcaster. And now he goes out and he poo-poos it, like you said. But then he was filming a special this week, and apparently he bombed, and he bombed really hard at 2 separate shows.
Yeah.
Couldn't get punchlines right. And yeah, you probably saw the video of him saying, "I'm going to kill myself." Joking around, of course. He's a comedian, but
I don't know. He seemed pretty not joking.
I don't know. It was kind of like a sing-songy way. I don't think he's going to kill himself. He's making too much money.
The rich people have never killed themselves. That definitely.
Well, they do when they get wrapped up in something wrong, but when you're just having a bad week at a bad period, I don't know. Maybe.
I think it was stupid. Like I said, your whole popularity, your whole existence is dependent on what you've been labeled and leaning into what you've been labeled. And you want to choose now to say, yeah, my views are actually pretty nuanced and you should take this down. I don't want you to be publishing this using my likeness as a very public comedian, the video that I published to the internet without copyright claims. I don't want you using this. Grow up. Just realize what you are and don't try to pretend you're something else. Like all of a sudden you're an intellectual on immigration just because you realize that people are being deported and there's a human cost and you don't want your face to be associated with making light of it. You're a comedian. You stepped into this world and this role. I've got no sympathy for Theo Von, and I think he made a very poor choice to choose that moment to say, I'm not just this comedian who says things. Actually, I think about things, and I think very deeply about things. I've watched multiple minutes of Theo Von's podcast, and I've never heard him go into a very deep thought or an exploration of some intellectual idea. So sorry. Oh, heard you didn't like the way the administration was using your likeness.
Bye.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think about it too much this week. Just kind of scrolled past my news timeline or my news feed. Ugh. Well, deportations are happening. Trump is getting back at his political rivals. Whole 9 yards. Did you hear that? I pulled a shutdown clip, but you guys pretty covered it. But the second half of it was talking about Trump gaining political retribution.
Yes.
Of course. Here we go.
And Bob, in the past week, we've seen President Trump escalate what critics would call a retribution campaign against political foes, anyone connected to investigations into him when he was out of the White House. Is that what this is? And could there be more prosecutions coming, as the president seems to suggest?
Well, the president and Justice Department officials would not use the word retribution when you talk to them. They say this is the Justice Department trying to hold people to account. But you're right. Many Democrats and some scattered Republicans on Capitol Hill have sounded an alarm about how some of these prosecutions and indictments are taking place, most notably James Comey, the former FBI director who will be arraigned next month. There are other names on the radar of those inside the administration who I've spoken with in recent weeks, including Senator Adam Schiff of California about his mortgage policy. That's being scrutinized, I'm told. So is the mortgage policy of Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, who, as we all recall, she sued President Trump about his real estate assets in the state of New York. And those are just two names among many who could face legal trouble from this Justice Department. But the tension is how you understand it. Democrats are saying this is authoritarian action. This is a Justice Department that's out of control. And Republicans are telling me constantly this is just a Justice Department that's holding these people to account. And they say President Trump suffered from political prosecutions in recent years himself. That was the real politicization. So there's such a divide in this country, and it's again reflected in this debate.
Yeah, really important to get your reporting, especially since you spoke with the president directly this weekend. Bob Costa, thanks so much. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Bob Costa, political retribution. Yeah, what's his name? Got indicted. Comey. Yeah.
Comey. Yeah, I really wanted there to be time for me to listen to and suffer through former CIA director clips on MSNBC, Brennan. But alas, there was not that kind of time nor patience this week. But I did hear a clip of him saying that he reviewed all of his actions while he was in the employment of the U.S. government, and he didn't see where he did anything wrong. So case closed there.
If only the legal system, officer pulls you over. You know why I stopped you? No, I did not, officer. Very well. Have a good night. If only it worked that way.
You know, this is the same guy, Brennan, who said, and I think we've got the clip. If you've got an archive, it would have to be in a evergreen archive. But he said, you know, everyone is innocent until, you know, being alleged to be involved in some kind of criminal activity.
Are you saying Brennan or are you meaning Comey?
Brennan.
Oh.
Brennan said that.
Gotcha.
On MSNBC, nonetheless.
Of course.
Yes, but Comey, I mean, what do you say about Comey? He posted on social media that he thought the idea of Donald Trump being assassinated was very interesting.
I mean, they hate the guy. The problem is there's a marketing message. Is now what Trump and the right has failed to do is to fail to highlight how these exact same actions were taken against the right and against the Republicans. And so now the media narrative, you know, back then it was Trump deserves this, you know, he deserves all of these different things that are happening. Now, with Donald Trump, it's authoritarian dictatorship. Under Biden, it was, you know, what a reasonable country would do. Justice is served. Now it's authoritarian, fascist, racist, KKK, Donald Trump, go away.
But people remember that those things that happened to Trump aren't things that can just easily be forgotten and not brought up in conversation if you go down this conversational road with someone. And you see the posts all over Twitter and even Facebook a couple of times, actually, where people were talking about how this is persecution of political opponents and it's never happened before, and people will repost and say, yeah, never happened before, and post the mugshots of Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump. So people know.
Yeah.
And the counter argument is, well, Donald Trump actually committed crimes. And, you know, what do you say to that? Okay, well, is he in jail?
Well, the problem is, you know, it's like the two different theaters. Like, people still believe that that police officer, Derek Chauvin, actually killed George Floyd.
Yes, they do.
Despite the autopsy and the toxicology reports proving otherwise, they'll still always believe it. People believe Mike Brown said, hands up, don't shoot, and he was shot dead. And so it's not a matter of, it's a matter of getting the story out first and then maybe correcting it later on or, you know, acknowledging it. But it's, once that information's out there, it's out there. So people that think that what happened to Trump was justified and now he's using politics, a weaponized version of politics, they're always going to believe that. And the vice versa is true.
Well, so the question becomes, do you believe there's any significant blowback from Trump doing this or the Trump DOJ doing this?
Eventually there could be, but I don't think Trump's too worried about it. You know, by the time they started, after he's done being president, if they start a trial or try to get him on something, he's going to be dead before anything comes of it.
Yeah, and what are they going to get J.D. Vance for? Being a poor white cracker?
Probably. Or at least fronting as a poor white cracker.
Yeah.
Down in the holler.
I don't think anything comes of it. I think people don't, other than people who are already politically activated and are not going back from their political activism, I don't think people care if they go after Comey. I don't think people care if they go after Brennan.
No.
I don't think people are going to care at all. And your base is going to say, oh yeah, give me that red meat. And the opponents are going to scream and squelch and get plenty of material and content out of it. But who cares?
I think you're right. I think most people are past caring. I mean, even with these guards entering the cities, these still people that you see protesting the rational anti-fascists, if you will, the old people with signs. They're the only ones that care, and they were out there with signs because that Jewish couple told them to be. Ever since No Kings, they go to all of them. So
yeah, and this, we've long identified this phenomena of the elderly protester reliving their glory days of standing up to the machine, and they're truly the only ones that care about this. They're not inspiring younger generations to protest and resist. They're just counting the days until they physically can't go protest.
I can no longer resist. I must sit here on the couch. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like become a hobby. Like the problem is they shut down all the malls, right? Malls used to be a thing. That's where the old people used to go and they used to walk around. There's no malls anymore. So now they're like, hey, let's come over. We'll do arts and crafts. And then we'll go walk down the street for a little bit and let people know we're angry.
Yeah, the protesting is basically the equivalent of pickleball, but for liberals.
Yeah. I see them and I'm like, oh, cool. Nice signs. I don't like when they block streets or when, you pull up to a stop sign and they're like waving their sign at you and you're just like, this is so cringe. I don't even know what to do.
Well, I think about it much in the same way that I think about, and not in a condescending way at all, I think about someone who is overweight when I see them out vigorously walking, or someone who is obviously of advanced age and they're out walking and exercise. I genuinely think I'm glad they're trying. And that's the way I feel about these old people standing out there with their signs. I'm glad they're trying. Because they're not having an effect. I mean, they're having an effect on their own ego.
They're having the opposite effect.
Like
the young kids, I'm like, I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to be there. These guys are freaking posting hilarious memes. That's what I want.
You kids want to go protest?
No.
Ew, and then go play bingo after?
I don't know how to spell, Grandma.
Ew, did you write that?
Okay, dokie. I forgot what we were even talking about. What were we talking about?
We were talking about persecutions.
Oh, that's right.
Political persecution.
Political persecutions. The best
and,
kind.
it's interesting that all of this is extremely flat because, and I'm not talking about the product here, I'm talking about the general societal malaise around this, especially in younger generations. Truly, people don't care. And maybe it's that it's football season. Maybe that's it. Maybe the people who were kind of overly or more concerned than usual a few months ago actually have something to do now. So they, they're not as engaged, and it doesn't seem as, because it seems like everything is kind of cooling off. Everybody needs a break. Yeah. Nobody cares.
No one cares. That was my whole point on the shutdown. Oh, the government shutdown. What does that mean? It means they don't make more laws that make our lives less fun. That's it. That's the only thing it means.
That's crazy. Did you see the game last night?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Everyone is done. Like, the amount of fear, like the first couple of times they got you, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this. This is terrible. This is terrible. And then it was so many times the little kid cried wolf that now people are like, they don't even watch the news anymore because they learn nothing. All they learn is biases, and you can see the biases.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious at this point.
And even Trump doesn't care anymore. Have you seen him address the public? it's been awful the last couple of times.
He's been very tired.
Well, he's kind of been tired, but he's still going long-winded. He did an hour and 15-minute address to the military today. Half of it was completely unrelated to the military, just randomly.
No, there was no plan for him to speak to the military. Hegseth invited him cordially, and he couldn't turn down the opportunity to be seen.
Yeah, you have. That's true. It is true. Do you have any clips on that speech?
Yeah, well, not Trump, because he didn't say anything.
I got one Trump, which was my favorite part of his whole speech.
Okay.
But let's go through Hegseth first, and then we can play Trump.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got a CNN military meeting rundown.
Alrighty, I'll fire it now.
Hundreds of U.S. generals and admirals are expected to attend a really unusual meeting here at Quantico Base in Virginia on Tuesday. And they were summoned last week by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who we're told wants to give a speech about the, quote, warrior ethos and outline new military readiness standards, as well as new grooming and fitness standards for the force. Now, we're also told that President Donald Trump is expected to be here at Quantico on Tuesday, and he is going to be speaking to the gathering of his generals and admirals as well. And sources say it's going to be akin to a, quote, pep rally. It's going to be a chance for Hegseth and for Trump to outline their new vision of the U.S. military under President Trump's administration. Now, generals and flag officers were not told why they actually had to drop everything and travel to Virginia, and a lot of them have raised questions about why they need to be here in person in order to hear Secretary Hegseth make these remarks, especially because these remarks are expected to be live streamed and they are going to be recorded to be released later as well. But a lot of the military officers, prior to really understanding the purpose of this meeting, had raised concerns that perhaps it could be some kind of loyalty test, because Secretary Hegseth, as we have heard previously from him, he has expressed disdain many times for the very generals and admirals that are going to be assembled in that room on Tuesday.
Yeah, the crazy thing is the new military uniforms are going to be designed by Hugo Boss.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I think they'll look pretty good, especially in the
too.
history books.
Exactly. That's kind of how I think the media is going to try to spin this. I could very well see, who are those people? Chunky Yogurt and Anna Kasparian, the Young Turks. I could see the Young Turks spinning this as, this is what the Nazis did. The Nazis designed uniforms with Hugo Boss. So, just laying the ground. I'm taking that wind out of their sail for them for when they get there. Yeah, when they first announced this, it was like, oh shit, what is this? Like, are we planning something big? So it was this information paired with strato tankers going across to Europe. All the generals coming back to Quantico, and we're sending strato tankers across to Europe, and it's like, uh-oh, something might be going down soon. And then it was this. It was, you're too fat. You have too much vagina. Go home.
Yeah. I was very happy to hear him use the F word as much as he did.
Yeah. Same.
You never hear people actually say fat.
I will say I did take offense to the beardo comment.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be so soft.
I don't know. I'm not gonna serve my country now because I want my beard.
And you were going to before?
I serve my country every Tuesday from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
Well, you just outed us as being sponsored by the military-industrial complex.
Yes. Part of our negotiation is we can have beards, though.
Not anymore. I got to shave mine now, too, I guess.
You have a beard?
Right now I do.
Oh. I thought you just glued pubes to your face.
No, I actually can grow a very nice, full beard.
I believe.
Probably have in the past grown a larger and longer beard than you ever have.
I disagree. We'll compare some photos.
Okay. You send me yours, I'll send you mine.
Very well. Beard pics will be exchanged, and not in a gay way. Not in a bear way. In a care way.
Base beards.
Okay. let's go on with the military meeting.
Yes, Hegseth montage. NBC is going to give us everything we need to know about the Hegseth speech in 2 minutes.
All the bad stuff he said. It's great.
But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons, based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We became the woke department. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. We are done with that. Each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. This is not...
You can hear the AV system that they were using blue. And so that's what you're hearing in the background.
Yeah, because it wasn't this bad to start.
No.
If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. No more beardos. We're undertaking a full review of the department's definitions of so-called toxic leadership, bullying, and hazing. Of course, you can't do like nasty bullying and hazing. We're talking about words like bullying and hazing and toxic. They've been weaponized. And if that makes me toxic, then so be it. No more frivolous complaints. No more anonymous complaints. No more repeat complainants. No more smearing reputations. No more endless waiting. No more legal limbo. No more sidetracking careers. No more walking on eggshells. Telling someone to shave or get a haircut or to get in shape or to fix their uniform or to show up on time or to work hard, that's exactly the kind of discrimination we want. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession.
Boom.
Sounds pretty good to me as an American citizen who would not enjoy being conquered by another country.
All our soldiers out there with their baby faces, you know, because they shaved. It'd be funny.
Well, do you have anything on this? Any clips?
I just have Trump's a cutout of Trump's comments.
Well, I want to hear that. And then I've got Hegseth on a hot mic that I didn't see many people pick up at all, with this General Pyle from Southeast Asia. And it's interesting because we've talked about Southeast Asia quite a bit. And I thought this was probably the most interesting thing to come out of this. Arguably, I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking, you know, nothing I felt the need to post on our Twitter account when I saw it, but I thought it was interesting. But I want to hear Trump first, and then we can end with the hot mic.
So here's Trump kind of rambled on about a lot of stuff. But here's 45 seconds of his speech that I found kind of funny, because he's kind of doing like a stump speech that he would at a rally, but it's in front of all these generals, and he's got like a laugh line in here, but no one laughs, and he hits the punchline again. It's great.
But I announced that, you know, based on his mention of nuclear, and it was really a stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear, I moved a submarine or two, I won't say about the two, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. You can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else.
We have more N-words than anyone else. Oh, Donald J.
And he goes on to say that ours are better.
Yeah, our N-words are better. When he hit there are two N-words and you can't use either of them. It was just like so quiet. That was my favorite part. That's why I was laughing, because no one else did.
Yeah, they're a bunch of stiffs.
Yeah, well, they were just told that they had to get in shape and could be yelled at.
Yeah, get in shape and stop wearing dresses.
Could you imagine being like the one trans commander? Be like, this feels very targeted.
Is anyone else sweating?
Nope, just you, Navy. I love the Navy. My grandpa was in the Navy. But, stereotypes.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this hot mic. It should be the last one in my folder.
Perfect.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What is that, Private Pile?
Sir, jelly donut, sir!
A jelly donut?
Sir, yes, sir!
How did it get here?
Sir, I took it from the mess hall, sir!
Is chow allowed in the barracks, Private Pile?
Sir, no, sir!
Are you allowed to eat jelly donuts, Private Pile?
Sir, no, sir!
And why not, Private Pile?
Sir, because I'm too heavy, sir!
Because you are a disgusting fat body, Private Pile!
Sir, yes, sir!
Then why did you hide a jelly donut in your footlocker, Private Pile?
Sir, because I was hungry, sir!
Yeah, I should have guessed that.
Surprising quality from a hot mic moment.
I should have guessed that with Pile being the name. I was like, oh, that's a coincidence.
You never saw it coming.
Yep. Good old Full Metal Jacket. Isn't Private Pile the guy that then takes a gun and shoots a bunch of people in the barracks?
He shoots the drill sergeant, R. Lee Ermey, and then shoots himself.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm convinced, I rewatched Full Metal Jacket recently, and I'm convinced that the first half, the basic training half of Full Metal Jacket, was a very good and lauded short story that someone wrote, a short screenplay. And instead of just leaving it alone as a very good short story, they felt the need to expand it into combat in Vietnam, and it almost comes off as a parody in the second half. It doesn't feel like a serious war movie in the second half, and it actually does in the first half. The boot camp feels like a very serious setting, and when they get to Vietnam, it does not feel serious at all.
Love you long time. Yeah, I know what you mean. Getting their cameras stolen and whatnot. I forget what happens in the full. Is that where they like retake the embassy? The embassy falls and they have to like try to retake it again. I can't remember.
I don't think there's an embassy.
I can't remember if that was Full Metal Jacket or some other movie I watched recently. What's the Vietnam movie where there's like reporters on the ground and they're constantly going to the Hanoi Hilton, and the reporters are there, and maybe I don't remember. It could have been the greatest beer run ever. I've seen a lot of Vietnam movies, and they all kind of merged together in my head for me.
I mean, there is a 1987 Vietnam movie called The Hanoi Hilton.
I haven't seen that. That was just like the location where the journalists were hanging out. And where they all realized that the ceasefire wasn't actually going on. They were claiming that there was a ceasefire, but there was no ceasefire. So, I don't know.
Maybe The Quiet American?
I've never seen that either.
Well, my favorite is Platoon.
Maybe it was Platoon.
No, there were no journalists in Platoon.
Okay. I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's an Oliver Stone film. Very good.
I've definitely seen it. I just need to get caught up on it. So there's a couple of events that happened in the U.S. This week, including the Mormon Church and the North Carolina boat shooting. Similarities between the two that are eerie to me. at least.
Really?
Yeah. So I'll play a little bit of a rundown here on the Mormon church shooting. They like to be called the LDS, but it is the Mormon church, just rebranded. So I'll play it right now.
The FBI is now the lead investigator on this case. Right now, they are calling it an act of targeted violence. They're trying to figure out why 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford drove into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, then opened fire, and then set the church on fire. The investigation is ongoing.
These first responders right now, they're in recovery mode.
A 911 call came in at 10:25 Sunday morning. Within seconds, a Grand Blanc Township police officer and DNR officer were on scene. At 10:33, officers engaged in gunfire with the suspect in the parking lot of the church. That's where the suspect was shot and killed.
No, I don't know how many people are unaccounted for at this time. We do know that there are some that are unaccounted for.
2 people have been found dead inside that church, according to Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Rennie. 4 people, including the suspect, are dead.
I will confirm that there were some suspected explosive devices that were located. But as far as using them to initiate the blaze, I can't say that. This scene is actively being investigated by ATF.
Michigan State Police have also investigated multiple bomb threats in the area that have come in since this unfolded Sunday morning.
We are working tirelessly to recover the victims of this incident and reunite families.
Multiple law enforcement agencies are doing this investigation. They also are commending the heroism inside the church.
The community should remain vigilant, and anytime they see something suspicious, they should report it immediately. The heroism that we saw today, the people who responded in such a valiant way to protect the others, both law enforcement, fire department, EMS, everybody did an excellent job working together to keep people as safe as they possibly could.
The FBI is asking anyone who might have information to call them and provide any tips to 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also submit those tips online. They are working tirelessly to identify everyone who might still be inside that church. The investigation is ongoing right now to find out why this happened. For now, reporting in Grand Blanc Township, I'm Courtney Bennett.
So he's a 40-year-old Iraq War veteran, and we heard all of that information in their attacks to the Church of Latter-day Saints and whatnot. The top story, the top headline on Google News all day yesterday was, Mormon church shooting suspect had Trump sign outside his home, records show. And then there's the photo of him in a Trump shirt. All of this to imply that the right wing does political violence was the main takeaway. You were supposed to take away from seeing those headlines, but this is not even remotely close to what would be considered political violence. But I digress.
So it's actual domestic terrorism.
It is domestic terrorism. And interestingly, this guy goes on this random podcast. He's a candidate for city council in the area where this happened, and he said he spoke to the shooter a couple of days before he actually did it, and it's a quick little clip. I'll play it here.
Hello, everyone. I'm talking to Chris right now, and you contacted me a short time ago, pretty distraught because actually earlier today you came to the realization that you say that you talked to the person who did this horrible thing in Grand Blanc Township.
I did last week. It was Wednesday or Thursday. I'm running for city council and I'm canvassing, and I had an address on my map that I went to, and I came across a gentleman. He was very friendly, and he had interacted positively with me, and we got out of the vehicle. We started just to talk, and after a short while, the conversation went to the Church of Latter-day Saints, Mormonism, and he just made the position multiple times that Mormons are the Antichrist. And he, in not so many terms, said that several times. He gave me his background, but I just walked away from a person who had some very sharp views about Mormons.
So a couple of things are disturbing. Neighbors described him as a fun-loving guy that had, I guess, unacceptable opinions on certain groups of people. But ultimately, he was kind of a fun guy to be around, is what he said. And this guy said he had a brief conversation with them, and he ends up bringing out that Mormons are, in fact, the Antichrist, which is an interesting take, I'll say.
I've tried to look into this, and I couldn't find too much in the way of writing or even, internet rantings on the logic for this.
For Mormons being the Antichrist?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out this guy had dated a Mormon lady at one point. He moved to Iowa and dated a woman that was in the faith, and they think that's where his disdain and hatred for the Mormon church might have began. I don't know, but what bothers me is that people are describing him as this fun-loving guy that had like this hatred for a specific group type scenario. Because I know a lot of people that are fun-loving and don't like certain groups. But what's more is the type of people that meet a stranger and then let them in on their deep, dark thoughts inside of their head like this. I oftentimes have come across this where I've been at, like Mardi Gras is a big thing in St. Louis. I've been at a Mardi Gras event, and somebody that's a friend of a friend, we just start talking to him, and then all of a sudden she starts going on about babies just being a clump of cells, bringing up abortion out of nowhere. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's when people get way too like confrontational like that early on in a conversation, it's weird. It's really weird. And so that type of person exists out there where they're super nice, everyone likes them, but don't talk about this particular topic because they'll go off on it. And it just seems like that's kind of what happened to this fella. He went off on this topic and it like consumed him and it ate him. And that's why he did this. And it's just kind of like a plea for everybody that hears this to not let something like that consume you to the point where you'd go out and do a violent act like this. It's kind of similar to like Luigi Mangione in my mind, from that understanding.
That he was just consumed with the fraud of the healthcare system after his back injury?
Yeah. And now he's going to be in jail for life. Well,
yeah.
We'll see. But so there was that one. And so 40-year-old Iraq war veteran. Keep that in mind. And then this second shooting happened from a boat in North Carolina at a bar called the American Fishing or something, American Fishing Company, something like that, American Fish Company. I'll play this story.
Overnight, 3 people killed, at least 8 more wounded after a gunman on a boat opened fire into a crowd at a riverside bar in North Carolina. An evening of music and drinks turned into a night of terror.
The subject on the boat shooting into the building from the boat.
Southport officials saying the gunman on a boat began shooting at patrons of the American Fish Company, a popular waterfront pub about 30 miles south of Wilmington. Officials saying the boat then escaped up the intercoastal waterway. According to the city, a U.S. Coast Guard crew later spotted a man matching the shooter's description at a public boat ramp. He was detained and is now in custody with Oak Island police. Police are calling him a person of interest. No motive has been released.
Keep the community and those involved, our families, in your thoughts and prayers.
So this guy, he changed his name at one point, but he was a 40-year-old Iraq veteran. He might have been shot in the head and had extensive brain injuries, and oddly enough, was Kelly Pickler's date to the 2012 CMT Awards, the Country Music Awards.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently, he had since sued Kelly Pickler, claiming that she tried to kill him. So this guy was also not in a good mental state. But the fact that they're both 40 years old.
How do you know?
How do I know he was not in a good mental state?
Yeah, maybe Kelly Pickler tried to kill him.
Maybe. But usually people that shoot random strangers from a boat at a bar having a good time are not in a good mental state.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
So the idea, and when I heard these two things happening a day apart, and that they're both 40 and that they're both Iraq war veterans, my tinfoil hat goes on and goes, Manchurian Candidate. If you know a 40-year-old Iraq war veteran, reach out. Ask them how they're doing. Talk to them.
Ask them if they've received any signals lately.
Right. Hey, Just out of the blue, I know we haven't talked in years, but do you hate any random groups of people? How do you feel about Jamaicans? You cool with them? Okay. What about Norwegians? Just go through the list of potential groups that people could hate and try to see if they hold any ill will towards them. No, but in all seriousness, the whole Manchurian Candidate thing, I can't shake it. I know this guy had brain injuries. The other guy is weird. The Michigan LDS guy, really weird. Young son, a wife. Both of them have had some level of publicity where they, this guy was Kelly Pickler's date, and the other guy, because he was a veteran, and the other guy had a son with a bunch of health issues when he was born, and was on the news and received money from different places to help with it. And so both of them had like some level of publicity, and then they did this. It's just the similarities between them are weird, and I can't put my finger on what it is.
Oh, probably the 40-year-old
Iraq war veteran. But I can't put my finger on why it's so odd. Like, is this just purely coincidental, or is there something more? A third one would confirm there's something more.
Yeah, but 3 might be too many. Maybe they got just as many as they needed, because the boat attack happened first, did it not?
No, it happened, I thought, on Monday night. Maybe it did. I don't know.
I was under the impression it happened first. And maybe I just saw the coverage of the church attack. Well, it would make sense that the boat attack happened first because he shot it at a bar. So wouldn't that have been Friday or Saturday night, most likely?
Have you ever heard of alcoholics?
Yes.
You might be right. You might be right.
So maybe the desired effect wasn't achieved with the first? Because the church is a much bigger, more public, more impactful event. I mean, he burned the church down. What I don't get is that instead of rampaging through the church, he was killed in a shootout in the parking lot.
Well, he rammed the church, shot into it a couple of times, and then apparently ran around with gasoline or something and lit the church on fire. So to that note, no one has asked me this, and no one, I think, in my parish is aware, but I have accepted the cross of always going to church heavy ever since, I don't know, I've been doing it for a long time now, but I always go to church heavy, and after these last couple of months, it seems completely justified to me.
Yeah, me too. How do you carry in church?
I have an in the pants holster, and then I'll just
inside the belt.
Yeah, I'll tuck it. Like, I'll have a tucked in shirt usually, and I'll just tuck it underneath there.
Underneath your tucked in shirt?
Yeah, I can't get to it real quick, but I mean I can get to it fairly quickly. Yeah, but I don't suspect. The goal is always, or the vision is always, 3 or 4 Islamic terrorists with AK-47s will bust through the door and start shooting at the ceiling. At which point I'll duck down, go behind in the narthex, and take a proper shooting angle down the aisle, and be a local hero and have a sandwich company name a sandwich after me. But
hopefully you never get that.
Yeah, I really hope I never have a sandwich named after me because of a terrorist attack. But that is the vision. That is the daydream. When we get the bad priest, the robot priest.
That's the daydream you're having in church.
If it's anybody but Father Kevin, I'm like, shit. But I've said too much. Where do you want to go from here?
I have some interesting news out of New York. We had the UN meeting.
Yep.
And I don't have anything on what Bibi said or what Trump said or or the fact that you had an actual terrorist recognized by the UN as a terrorist give a speech at the UN. And as far as I know, no one walked out for his speech. But you had a lot of people walk out for Bibi's speech, which I thought was just so UN that it pains me. But this is an interesting story from the UN gathering in New York. This is from Brute, the news outlet Brute. And this is about the sanctions that were put on the Iranian delegation.
The U.S. announced that Iranian diplomats can no longer shop at Costco. Here's what we know. The U.S. State Department issued a memo Monday that said Iranian officials visiting for the UN General Assembly can't freely shop at wholesale clubs like Costco or Sam's Club anymore. Iranian diplomats are also barred from buying luxury goods worth more than $1,000, such as jewelry, perfumes, leather goods, high-end electronics, alcohol, and even cars priced above $60,000. According to U.S. officials, the point is to stop Iranian elites from using trips to the UN as shopping sprees, while millions in Iran face sanctions, poverty, and shortages of basic resources like water and electricity. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian is still expected in New York for the UNGA. What do you think?
No foot-long hot dogs for them.
Well, apparently they had been loading up jets of goods from Costco and flying them back to Iran.
Sounds like a fun little Saturday.
No. I kind of want the reality TV version of it.
I would like to know what they're buying at Costco. Like, are they just getting a shit ton of batteries, or the tequila, or what are they buying at Costco that's so amazing that they can't get it elsewhere?
Generally elastic goods for a very cheap price in very bulk quantities.
Light bulbs.
Yeah. Tissues, toilet paper, paper towels, paper plates.
Kirkland brand lavash bread.
Lavash.
I don't know. The hummus is good. They've got
maybe that's it. Maybe they're just going in there and blowing the budget on hummus.
And Toom, which is a Middle Eastern thing as well, that garlic spread. We've talked about it here on the show before. It's also very good and available at Costco and cheap. I'm a big Costco guy. I love Costco. It's good. It's a good store.
The Iranians would agree.
Well, that's funny. I love that they're no longer allowed to go in. But I pay membership. Too bad. Assad, you can't come in.
Now, speaking of Bibi and Israel, I've got an infographic from an obscure news site that I can't even think of the name of right now, and it's not apparent on the site, which is, the site just says AA. So can't even tell you what it is. But this infographic is about President Trump's Gaza plan. And I'm going to read some of it. It's a 20-point plan to end the Gaza conflict. So, one, if both sides accept the proposal, Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed line in preparation for the release of hostages. During this period, airstrikes and artillery bombardments will be suspended, and battle lines will remain frozen until conditions are met for a full phased withdrawal. Within 72 hours of Israel's public acceptance of the agreement, all hostages, both alive and deceased, will be returned. Once all hostages are released, Israel will release 1,700 Gazans. For every Israeli hostage whose remains are returned, Israel will release the bodies of 15 Gazans. After all hostages are returned, amnesty will be granted to Hamas members who commit to laying down their arms. Humanitarian aid. Immediate aid, in quotes, will be delivered to the Gaza Strip. Humanitarian assistance will will include repairing infrastructure, hospitals, and bakeries, removing rubble, and bringing in necessary equipment to reopen roads. Technocratic Palestinian Committee and Peace Council. Gaza will be temporarily administered by a technocratic and apolitical Palestinian committee responsible for providing daily public and municipal services to the people. This committee will be overseen and monitored by an international peace council. The peace council will be led by Trump, Tony Blair, and other members and heads of state to be announced later. This structure will establish the framework for Gaza's redevelopment until the Palestinian Authority can safely and effectively retake control of Gaza. The status of Hamas. Hamas and other groups will agree not to take any role in Gaza's governance. All attack infrastructure, including tunnels and weapons manufacturing facilities, will be dismantled. International Stabilization Force, ISF. U.S. will work with international partners to establish a temporary ISF to be deployed in Gaza. The ISF will provide training and support to Palestinian police forces in Gaza and secure border areas with Israel and Egypt. It is claimed that Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. That's a heading, much like humanitarian aid was a heading. Again, it is claimed that Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. As the ISF establishes control and stability in the region, the Israeli army will withdraw according to standards and timelines set by guarantors, the U.S. and the Israeli army. Until the Israeli army fully withdraws from Gaza, it will gradually transfer the territories it occupies to the ISF under an agreement with the interim government.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way Israel agrees to half of that. And the destruction of the tunnels. I mean, if they're thinking with their head, Trump should say they should be leased to the Israelis for pickle production. The best way to pickle anything is in cold underground places, and I have it on good authority that that entire country and area is short on cold places. But yeah, there's going to be some serious revisions to that, or rescissions, as they use in Congress, before Israel even comes remotely close to accepting that.
I just wonder what brought this about.
The 20-point peace plan?
Yeah.
Trump wanting a Nobel Peace Prize. And if you look, all the people in history that you were taught about had a peace plan that wasn't followed, and then something bad happened because of it. World War II is an example of something bad that followed because Europe didn't follow Wilson's 14-point peace plan.
Yeah, I'm interested to see which troops will constitute the ISF, the international partners, the U.S. and international partners.
Arab NATO. That would be great. Get Arab NATO in there. Yeah, I don't see that happening at all.
Well, there's a possibility that if you let other people start coming in and cleaning up and policing, and they see what has actually happened in Gaza, Israel has a lot more to answer for than they do currently, even though they'll never answer for anything. But that's just a turn of phrase, I guess. They have a lot to answer for.
Do you see Israel making it back in the court of public opinion? I mean, I still see these very pro-Israel people on the right, and it's like, are you even paying attention to what's going on?
Maybe, but they don't care.
Or they don't want to get shot.
Well, no. I think they are fully, they 100% are convinced that the Bible instructs them to bless Israel, the modern secular state. And the threat made in the Bible, if you take that line of reasoning, is that anyone who curses the modern secular state Israel will be cursed.
Yeah, we've been down this road before about Israel not being actually Israel.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, we've been down it before, but that's it. I mean, that's it. That's why there are people who are still adamantly in support of Israel, and it's why people even care to be bothered with this at all, because of that line in the Bible.
The evangelicals, man, they're the Israel lovers.
Not all. I mean, yes, most Israel lovers are evangelicals.
Most Israel lovers. It's just a funny term.
You know, there's a really interesting bit of reading you can do on the calculus that went into the name selection for the modern Israeli state, the modern Jewish state in the Middle East. And, you know, it's so ingrained now that I even said modern Israeli state, but it's a Jewish state called Israel. The leading name was actually Judah. And then it was debated and changed to Israel. I think there's a real chance that it was changed to Israel because of that line in the Bible that says you must bless Israel. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. I think there's a real possibility that that line was the determining factor because they were thinking ahead about battling for the support of the nations.
I wish when people picked the name Portland, they would have picked Sodom. And San Francisco could have been Gomorrah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I think we should strategically name things now so that at least one group of people. Hell, Missouri should just change its name to Garden of Eden.
So nobody comes in?
Well, I guess the Mormons would come in the drove. And then you'd have a bunch of 40-year-old Iraq War veterans really upset in Missouri. I know we got a couple of them here.
Yeah, a couple's an understatement, I think.
Yeah. Lots of vets in Missouri. Good people.
I mean, what do you think about this idea? Do you think there's an idea out there that the Mormon Church is the Antichrist as an organization? Because I've never heard this, and this kind of stuck in my brain, and I wanted to hear someone flesh it out because I couldn't really make it work. I mean, I couldn't make the logic work, and maybe I'm not familiar enough with the eschatology. I think it's what it's called, study of the end of the world. Maybe I'm not familiar enough with the material, but I'm working on it. But I couldn't make the Mormons are the Antichrist work. Maybe it was just something the guy said out of turn, or just kind of threw it out there. Maybe he didn't actually have this, well-defined worldview with the Mormon Church being the Antichrist. I don't know, but it piqued my interest.
One of the core beliefs of Mormonism is if you are a good Mormon and you do all the good Mormon things, you actually become Jesus of a different planet. This is real. This is not me making a joke. This is actually their core belief.
Oh, it's not Israel, it's Utah.
Exactly. So they believe that you become Jesus. And the story of Jesus that they believe is interesting, that Jesus and Lucifer were actually brothers. They were brothers, and God cast Lucifer out for being bad, and Lucifer took all of the demons with him, and then the demons went to Earth and they mated with people, and that's how black people came to exist, is because the demons that were cast out of heaven mated with people on Earth, and they bore black people, which are half demon, half human. That is a standard Mormon belief, or at least was back in the day. So the idea that there could be Antichrist is that somebody thinks that they can become God or be a god of a different planet or a different realm is inherently Antichrist. You now are saying, I am Christ or I become Christ. So I could see it that way, but that's about it. Did you know that about Mormonism?
I just thought you became a star.
No, you become Jesus of another people's, of another alien species. There's more in common with Scientology than there is Christianity with Mormonism. But again, that does not mean go out and kill them. That means let them
can you
enjoy
really
their
say
temple.
that, though, if they believe that Christ is the Messiah?
I don't know. Mormonism is so interesting. There's a video. If I can find it before I publish the show, I'll link it in the show notes. And it's like a cartoon video that describes Mormonism. It's obviously written from an anti-Mormon perspective, but it's like a cartoon that describes the core beliefs of Mormonism. And it's like, what the hell, man? This is insane stuff. And it's not like they're outward teachings. It's like when you become a core, like inside the Mormon church, you learn this.
Yeah, I mean, because I've read the Book of Mormon, and I didn't see any of that in the book. I don't remember reading any of that. So, basically, is this the Mormon equivalent to the book that people point to for the Jews that is very problematic, and it's just the commentaries of the rabbis?
You're talking about the Talmud?
Talmud. So does all of this stuff come from basically the Mormon equivalent of the Talmud?
I don't think so. So the uploader of this, it's unavailable now. They changed their name to John Smith. Hilarious YouTube. Oh, man. Wow, YouTube took down all of these videos now.
Mormons in control.
This has to be due to the shooting and claiming that this leads people to believe the Antichrist.
Mormons in control.
Here we go. I found a version that has not been banned. I'll drop it in the chat room so people can watch it and download it. But yeah, it's kind of nutso, man. Like they have people going down to Earth. I don't actually know if this is anti-Mormonism. This might have been from the Mormon Church to explain it. But it's wild, man. There's like a great big battle, and Jesus and Lucifer are sent down to Earth to duke it out. It's insane. Not Antichrist material, but still just insane. My personal belief.
How do you feel about Jesuits?
Jesuits, they're like these liberal order within the Catholic Church. So I actually, when I was in college, my junior year, I volunteered at effectively a senior care facility for Jesuit priests run by my college. And yeah, they were like active in the 60s, talking about expanding welfare benefits and very big advocates for the poor and political. So I don't align with Jesuit type thinking very well.
Well, they're another group that a lot of people, and there's very public material about people believing that the Jesuits are the Antichrist or an Antichrist organization.
I wouldn't understand the justification for that.
Just saying they're behind a lot of conspiracies, a lot of murders, and they're the Jesuit oath. Once you get to a certain level, says that anyone who is not anyone who is condemned by the Pope has to be exterminated.
Well, I mean, could have very well been an old belief, but you don't see many Jesuits going out and exterminating people these days.
Or do you?
That's true. A lot of mysterious plane crashes.
Anyway, that was just another example that came to mind of groups that some people look at and say, yes, this is the Antichrist.
Yeah, Mormonism is weird. I mean, I've heard people talk about Mormonism and be like, Mormonism's weird. They're very friendly to your face. My parents went on like some sort of weird trip where it was sponsored by Mormons or something. Like they went on like a cruise or something. And they was like, everyone is very friendly, but you know, he got to the point where you'll never like see these people again or hear from them again. Like they're friendly to your face, and then they're very much stay away from me afterwards because they think you pull them away from Mormonism. You know, my parents drink and they eat chocolate and they have coffee. Oh God. Terrible, terrible people, terrible influence for the Mormon faith.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's all very interesting to me. But since we're talking about Israel and all these kind of things, I've got some clips of Larry Ellison, who owns and runs Oracle, among other major companies,
sure.
networks, things like that. And Oracle is going to be administering the algorithm for TikTok. Already is. And I've got a couple of clips from Larry Ellison just so we have logged a few of Larry Ellison's beliefs as we see the evolution of the TikTok algorithm now that the U.S. has its control over that information silo.
Yeah, Reddit was abuzz with it's going to become a right-wing propaganda platform.
I don't think it'll become that.
Of course not.
I just think there'll be certain things you can't say. Like the juice box emoji. You cannot post just the juice box emoji now by itself.
What about the Star of David?
Don't know about that one.
But
anyway, this is Ellison on surveillance.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
When you come to government and what government's doing, there are artificial intelligence tools, and some of them I know that Oracle have developed around financial management for government, but also tell us a bit about because you're right at the forefront of this revolution, what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
How do you take advantage of these incredible AI models? And the first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform. So we provide context. When we want to ask a question, we've provided that AI model with all the data they need to understand our country. So that's the big step. That's kind of the missing link. We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like.
Oh, that's convenient point of view from a man that runs a glorified database application.
Okay, now let's hear his thoughts on government.
So you're really, through the use of this, you're revolutionizing the way government works, right? The services it provides, the way that it operates. What about things like financial management, procurement? How can AI help a government operate more efficiently, more effectively, give a more direct and better service to the citizen?
Well, we have these modern financial systems. So, countries can, and all, for example, the AI system will help you do that. But again, the secret is to get all of that data in one place. Without having the basic data, it cannot answer the question about your country. I think countries are very uncomfortable with keeping their data in other countries' data centers. So I think part of our essential infrastructure, just like airports obviously need to be in our country, or they're not terribly useful. Ports need to be in our country, and they're not terribly useful. Data centers, because of the privacy requirements around the data, need to be in our countries, or they're not terribly useful. They need to be in our countries, but they also need to be secure.
Okay. And last one is biometrics.
Oh, boy.
This is the last year you will ever log on to an Oracle system with a password. Next, by the middle of this year, I'm quite certain you are Tony Blair. And so how do I know? Well, I look at you, I hear your voice, I listen to the kind of questions you ask.
Tony Blair? Isn't that the guy that's going to be in charge of the peace deal in Gaza?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure you're not synthetically created in having this conversation. The security system, we have biometric logins. The computer recognizes you. It recognizes your voice. It might ask you to put your index finger on the return key. And we're absolutely certain it's you. There's no reason to enter a password. In fact, passwords are too easily stolen. Data centers and data is being taken hostage all over the world. The ransomware business is a very, very good business. It's getting bigger and better every year. We tend not to talk about it because the American FBI has a simple advice to someone whose data has been ransomed. Just pay them because there's nothing we can do about it. But there is something we can do about it, not after the data is stolen. But before the data is stolen, we can make sure that we're using the latest security technology, and it is going to be biometrics assisted by AI to make sure that you are, in fact, Tony Blair, and I'm sure you are.
Blair's around right now.
He kind of fell off the face of the map, or the face of the earth for a while. And then now, yeah, I keep hearing his name.
He seems more like a type that would be more comfortable behind the scenes.
He's got a villain face,
I don't think so.
You're not looking at this photo.
Well, from one photo doesn't mean he has a villain face.
It's a villainous photo of his face.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of coverage right now about his involvement in the Gaza plan.
Yeah, when did this talk happen with Ellison? A while ago?
It was a little while ago, yeah.
And he's going to be controlling TikTok. Yeah, it's really kind of knowing what Oracle is. It used to be, my first, I guess, view of Oracle was it was a inventory management system. Like you could buy and order and look at something. I had an internship at a factory, a wet wipe factory, when I was coming up, and we used Oracle for that kind of stuff, for purchasing and all this other stuff. So it's basically just one big database, and it's convenient that this guy says, We need to put all this place in one, all of this information needs to go in one place.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? I happen to have that place. That's a good idea. Let's give it to me. So, big old sales pitch on Larry Ellison's behalf, but it's working, apparently. He now controls the TikTok algo.
And probably because he controls the TikTok algo, that probably means he controls the data storage.
Of course.
Because how else do you run the algo?
Well, that's what I was implying.
Yeah.
Is that he's got control of the systems. And so naturally you'd want it to be centralized into one system, your system.
But of course. Now, it is the end of the third quarter tonight, Dan. Do you want to tackle anything else before we tackle our last donations for the quarter?
No, I think I'm good. I've got mostly international stuff for the second half, so why don't we go ahead?
Yeah, I got some too.
Let's thank those people.
Millennial Media.
Offensive. You are riding along on The Offensive every Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m. John and I hop on to stream.mmo.show and do the show. Chatting along with people at chat.mmo.show. You can join too. No need to set up a password or something. You can just pick a name and hop right in and join the chat. It's pretty much the easiest chat ever. We don't care. We don't want to identify you. We don't need your biometric scan. You just come on in and talk. And if we like what you're saying, we'll keep you around. If you're obnoxious and saying horrible shit, we'll boot you. So far, we haven't had to do that. So that is a kudos to everybody on The Offensive. You're all very reasonable folks. That being said, we don't have any advertisers on The Offensive. Instead, we rely from value directly to the people that are having the conversation along with us. And there's many ways to attribute values, information, articles, emails, fiat donations, Bitcoin donations. We accept them all. We're always much appreciated. That being said, we always like to start off by thanking the person that did the art from last week. And this one is a gem. It is a gem. It's the Pokemon art.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
It's a riff on the Department of Homeland Security doing Pokemon for detained illegal immigrants. But this one is a play on the Black Bloc Antifa people that are now considered terrorists domestically. And it features a bunch of the power-ups. My favorite part of this piece has got to be weaknesses, all. Resistance, none. Retreat cost, 33. Well done. Well done all the way around. Black box. Tap this card to activate voice changer to disguise femboy voice, which is a segment that we bought. As always, this was done by Wolf, and he nailed all the details. All the details better than I could do, personally, and I respect the hell out of it. So thank you very much, Wolf. Got a couple other submissions last week as well. One from Serpent, which was pretty good, containing an empty shelf of Bibles. All the Bibles were bought out because
yes,
people were preparing for the rapture that did not happen. I'm here. John's here. John actually came on time today, so I mean, at least maybe part of him got raptured last week. But
yeah, I liked the concept behind the Bible shortage piece.
Yeah.
But there were two more that were just too good. And one was the Pokemon that we chose. The other was a satellite view of the Italian peninsula on fire with smoke moving toward Greece. And it was just a dynamite piece. It's organic.
Organic.
Organic, yes, it's organic because of a clip that we had played in the last show. But yeah, it was a really good piece, but we decided that the Pokemon piece was more topical.
It was. I do like the Ferrari font on this as well. very well done.
And still, I haven't heard anyone else connecting American Antifa and the Italian groups that we identified last week. And I think it's a major blunder. I don't know why no one listens to us. I don't know why this connection isn't being made so that Antifa can be classified as a foreign terrorist organization. But it's going to be here. It's going to be in episode 187 of the Millennial Media Offensive for all time, for everyone to see, so they can look back and say, wow, if only the administration had had someone listening to these guys, maybe we wouldn't still be dealing with Antifa.
There's a kid, he does like these live streams. He's been going to, he was in Paris looking at the Paris protesters. And then he was in Portland. Like, he's flying all over, and pretty much he's not very good at like interviewing people. He tries to like drop these jabs in there, but you can tell he's very scared, specifically around the black people that say they're gonna whoop his ass. He does a good job in that he goes and he's like, what do you know? Why are you out here? What do you believe in? What are you talking about? And I forget his name. I'll try to find him. But it's just interesting because he gives you like the boots on ground perspective that I like so much. It's like what's actually happening, what's actually going on, and what do these people believe? And yeah, the black people are just dicks, man. They're huge dicks with tiny dicks, ironically. If anyone knows who I'm talking about, let me know. I'll try to track him down, but. That's the kind of stuff we like. But yes, no one has made that connection. This kid, kind of has went into Paris and was interviewing people and was like, are you Antifa? And they're like, yes, we are Antifa. And then you see the Portland people. Portland, what a waste of space, Portland. Oh, my God. It has no redeeming qualities. I don't know. But
what does this guy look like?
He looks like my friend Mike Ryan.
Well, that doesn't help me at all.
Like Irish kid looking. He's got like these weird faces. I think his first name's Tyler. I should have a watch history somewhere on here. Okay. I'm logging in with a password, Larry Ellison. Don't kill me. Oh, let's see. Watch history. This is an extended thank you, Woof. This is what we're doing right now.
I don't know who this guy is.
Alas, I'll have to. Let's see. Was it Portland? Protest. Live.
Is he French? Is he?
No, he's an American kid.
American?
Nick Shirley is his name. Nick Shirley. He goes in and he just basically asks people, what are you doing here? What do you believe in? That kind of stuff. And then he like tries to get on the truth, like hit him with these truth bombs. And that's when people are like, all right, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, kid. So I like Nick Shirley's videos. I think he does an interesting job of just kind of going out and talking to people. He's kind of unassuming looking. Like you look at him, you can't tell what he's left or right. He's got a little bit of conservative bend, but when he's surrounded by a bunch of people that want to beat the shit out of him, he's kind of like, I'm just here, man. I'm just here. If I was there with him, I'd be punching people. So keep it up, Nick.
Yeah, but you don't have as much self-control.
It's true. It's true. I'm also probably a foot taller than all the people that were threatening him, so size matters. Very well. Thank you, Wolf, for the art, and thank you for following me on that long journey. That being said, we don't have art for tonight, so feel free to send it to dan@mmo.show or john@mmo.show. It doesn't have to be Wolf. Can be anyone that has an idea. Much appreciated. Moving on, we got a couple of people that came in via fiat donations and a good end of the quarter send-off, I would say. At the top of the list, we've got Colin Schultz, who came in and earning himself an executive producer credit through PayPal for $100. And he says political assassinations, tyrannical government leaders, conspiracies, cultural confusion, sedation, brutal crimes, murder, and constant war. Sounds like the headlines you'll hear about on MMO, but it also accurately describes the contents of the Book of Judges, which is actually quite prophetic of modern times. We'll begin studying Judges this Wednesday on Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth, hosted by Colin Schultz. If you've ever wondered where God is in the middle of the chaos, this study is one you don't want to miss. New episodes every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Study along with us. You might just pick up some real rapture trip tips. Go to church, study your Bible, and stay on the offensive.
On the offensive.
Colin Schultz.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Yeah, I might tune in for the Judges segment. That sounds kind of interesting to me. I would love to hear that. And if you haven't heard Colin Schultz podcast, they're great and they're quick. They're quick little hits. You can listen to it quick. A commute, cutting the grass. Colin does it. It's amazing. Thank you, sir. Trash Man comes in through PayPal with $28.41. And he says, keep one in the chamber and Jesus in your heart. And then a couple of Bible verses here. Luke 22:35. And he said unto them, when I sent you without a purse and script and shoes, lacked ye anything? And he said, nothing. Then said he unto them, but now he hath a purse, let him take it. And likewise his scrip, and he hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. For I say unto you that this is the written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. Nehemiah 4:15. And it has come to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and Lord had brought us their counsel to naught, and that we returned all of us to the wall, every one unto his work. And it came to pass from that 4th time that the half of the servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both of the spears, the shields, and the bows, and the harbergians, and the rulers were behind the house of Judah. They which built the wall, and they that bear burdens with those in the laded. Everyone, I'm not a King James guy, if you can tell. What?
What were the verses?
Luke 22-35.
Or the chapter, it sounds like.
22, verse 35 through 38. Nehemiah 15. And then there's one more. Romans 2:28. For he is not
Are you reading all of Nehemiah 15?
Romans 2:28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither in that circumcision, which is the outward flesh. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God. Effectively, a few verses of time to arm up. Thank you very much, Trash Man, for that. Again, sorry, not a King James guy. Cousin Vito, through PayPal, $20.25. Hey, y'all. Weirdo gets his praetorship and the Fed shuts down. Best day of the year, Cousin Vito. Agreed, and more on that in a minute. Plaid Potion, thank you, Cousin Vito, very much. Always appreciate it. Hear from you. Plaid Potion comes in through PayPal with $19.84 donation, and he says, OTO.
On the offensive.
PP. Thank you, Plaid Potion, for your mature take on the happenings of the day. Praetor Pareka of Peoria Diocese comes in through PayPal with $17.76, a freedom donation if I've ever seen one, and she says, OTO.
On the offensive.
Here's the last of my Rumble earnings. Thank you. You are making money on Rumble Please teach us, because I don't think we've made a dime on Rumble. Much appreciated. Hempress Emilium, the Praetor of the Peoria Diocese. Weirdo comes in through Cash App with 81488. Don't look into those numbers. With this donation, I have achieved Praetor status. From this day forward, I shall be known as Weirdo, Praetor of the not-so-flatlands and protector of esoteric knowledge. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And I, as a co-host of this podcast, confirm your Praetor statusship. John?
It is so.
It is so. Go out and protect esoteric knowledge. Thank you, sir. Weirdo. We need a ceremony, I think. Ethan C. comes in through PayPal.
What was that? What was that donation amount?
$14.88.
Okay.
Yep.
Just checking the books.
You got it. Ethan C. comes in through PayPal with $10, and that's his monthly recurring donation. Always a pleasure. The Nail Lord of Gaylord comes in through Venmo with $5, and he says, N-log here, OTO.
On the offensive.
I'll be on a mandatory government vacation tomorrow if there is no budget. DJ Horsegoo shout out. A DJ Horsegoo. Thank you, sir. Always appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your vacation. Potty Mouth comes in through Cash App with $1.12 and says, Dan, I want to play a game of checkers with you. Oh, sorry. Okay, read this carefully. I'm finna ask you a question, tree. Can you put some ornaments on it? Save it for Christmas. Xmas. How many cucks would a hood chick cuck if a hood chick would good luck? I will provide you the answer, but you must decrypt it. The answer is Wulub Wuchuch. And I did decrypt this, and that translates, that is what's called a Caesar cipher. And the answer is 33. Gives us a clue. Personally, I use it daily, constantly, even I'm not gay. Once decrypted, the next step will be self-explanatory. I know you won't disappoint me. You have always been like a sun to me, Dan. Sun spelt like the sun in the sky. I say that because I try to never look at you. It hurts my eyes. Thank God I don't have a child as ugly as you. This message generated using OpenAI's ChatGPT 4.0 Turbo, the world's leading LLM for homo lobotomized community. Domo origato homo loboto. Thank you, Potty Mouth. I always wonder what's going on in that head of yours, and sometimes you put it out on paper, and it's great. So thank you very much. That does it for all of our fiat donators for 188, an episode yet to be named.
Yes, and we also have some people that send in Bitcoin donations, and maybe with some better notes. I shouldn't disparage people like that. I appreciate your notes and your donations. Never get that confused. I love your notes, all of your notes. I don't like it when I go to the new Bitcoin donation feed because it doesn't make any sense to me. But now that I'm on the classic version and it's nice and cozy, Eric Pepe sent 3,333 Satoshis with a heart emoji, classic heart emoji, less than symbol and a 3. Love that.
Does that make him the Baghdadi booster?
Baghdadi.
Well, you really wanted to hear that tonight, didn't you?
Yes.
Bully Steed then comes in with 1,234, and said, hashtag MMO war is war.
Hoorah.
Saints and Sats comes in with 200 Satoshis and says, thank you, John, for watching Rapture videos so I don't have to. It's my pleasure. And then Piez comes in with 121 and says, thank you, gentlemen. Well, thank you. Now we also have Eric PP. Well, yeah, we have Eric PP streaming Satoshis to the show right now. Thank you very much, Eric PP. And that's it for our donations for tonight. Thank you to everyone who felt the need to donate, who felt they had received enough value from this product to turn around and return value to us. We hope that you continue to do that. We hope that you find some new people to bring into the offensive so that they can donate and help carry the load. We appreciate everybody who sticks with us and enjoys the show. Even if you can't donate, reach out and tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to hear. If you see anything interesting over the course of the week, send it to us. We'll look into it. It helps us more than you know. But to go back to the donation part, we wouldn't do this without donations because we wouldn't do it with ads. We would never force this product on you with advertising money. And we appreciate everyone who keeps us going. We've gone 188. Why should we stop now? So donate.
That's right. And if your load ever gets too heavy, John will bear your load.
Get it on.
What do you think about fear and drone sales?
I think that's right up our alley.
Perfect. So last week we were talking about these mysterious drone spottings that, these countries are claiming to see and are thinking they're definitely Russia. France 24 had an interesting piece kind of about these drone spottings in now Germany and Denmark. These are new since our last show. And the point of this piece becomes apparent the more you listen to it. So I'll play a little intro to it, but effectively, drones have been spotted over Germany and Denmark, and they're not ready. They're not ready for it. And this is what France 24, a purveyor of the European Union, is putting out there.
Germany's interior minister said Saturday that it has noticed an increased presence of drones over parts of the country in recent days. Describing the threat level as high, the minister said that Berlin will be adopting measures to protect itself in response. Take a listen to him earlier.
We note a permanent hybrid threat. It's about sabotage and espionage. Everyone could hear in the past few days that there has been an increased use of drones over parts of Germany. Our neighboring countries are also reporting an increase in drones with varying degrees of effectiveness. We're witnessing an armament race. An arms race between drone threats and drone defense. We must prepare ourselves for this, a race that we must not lose. And that is why we need to upgrade our technology.
Well, that announcement from the German interior minister came just hours after Denmark made a similar claim. The Nordic country's defense ministry saying that drones were observed at several of its facilities overnight on Friday, following a series of sightings across the country earlier this week.
There you have it. So drones are being spotted, and the interior minister of defense says, we got to prepare for it. We have to have better defenses. One of the things that we've mentioned about this warfare is the asymmetry of the attack versus defense that Ukraine was using, shooting down $20,000 Shahed drones from Russia with $300,000 Patriot missiles from the United States.
Yes.
So insane, and it can't be kept. And so this is kind of the opening argument for this France 24 piece. And you can't sell anything unless people are afraid. So let's sell some fear here.
For more on this, France 24's international affairs editor Philip Turl joins me now on set. Hi, Philip. So as for the Danish case then goes, still no news on who might be responsible?
No response from anybody to say they were responsible either for the attacks in Germany, which took place in the Schleswig-Holstein
attacks in Germany,
a state which is pretty close to the border with Denmark, or also in Denmark, where we've seen fresh attacks overnight in several areas.
They spotted drones.
Notably at the Skrup Air Base and the Jutland Dragoon Regiment, and also, more importantly, this hasn't been confirmed by the Danish authorities, but by local media, that there was a sighting of drones at the Karup Air Base, which is situated in the center of the country. This is the main air base in Denmark, the biggest military air base, and that's why the authorities are being a bit tight-lipped about it. But the reports from local authorities say that there were drones both inside and outside of that air base. But still, no claim of responsibility from anybody for these drone attacks. That hasn't stopped the authorities in both Germany, as we've just been hearing, and also in Denmark from pointing the finger indirectly at the Russians. The Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, said Denmark had been a victim of hybrid attacks, which he said could then multiply. But she said the one main country that poses a threat to Europe's security is, of course, Russia. And Denmark's Justice Minister has said the aim of these incursions was basically to spread fear, to create division, and to frighten people as to the safety of taking aeroplanes and moving around the country. So I think the main aim here of whoever is responsible for this is to see just how far they can go, what the retaliation would be, and also probably to try to recuperate some kind of information.
I like the Danish minister about spreading fear and, making people feel a sense of unease. If only there was a solution to these mystery drones that we believe are Russia, but we don't have any proof. If there is any sort of solution. Enter clip 3, which is the sales point. Here we go.
Now, the finger is being pointed fairly squarely at Russia, Erin, because there are 67 Russian ships based in the Baltic Sea. That's just across the water from Scandinavia, notably Denmark and Sweden. They have access to Kaliningrad, which is Russian territory just next to the Baltic states. So it is pretty easy for them to have those drones on board to fire them off and then for them to come back. There were even reports this week that some of the ships were changing identity so that they were not seen as being Russian ships, but from a European country. So there is a big investigation going on as to who could be responsible for all of this and how long this is going to last for. But I think what is safe to say is that these drone attacks over the last few days have opened up the possibility or the fear that Europe is very vulnerable, that this wasn't seen as something that was going to happen or could have happened, but not on such a strong level. And I think this has been a wake-up call because there are many in Europe saying, well, we've got a series of drone attacks taking place in Denmark and in northern Germany. We've seen these other attacks against other countries in Europe with not necessarily attacks, but flyovers of missiles and planes into NATO airspace, which obviously have come from Russia. So it's time now for something to be done. And one other element is that really, I think there is a fear that if something's done isn't done quickly, then this could all spiral out of control.
Now, the Danish Prime Minister, at least earlier this week, did indeed use the language of attacks, hybrid attacks, though it is worth specifying that for now, these are more sightings than attacks. Now, Philip, nonetheless, the EU has called for the building of an anti-drone wall. What exactly would this entail?
Well, this is not a wall built out of...
He said the last time he referenced the attacks, he said, well, not necessarily attacks. So he said it for 2 minutes. He said attacks for 2 minutes so that people would hear him say attacks. And then at the very end of his presentation, made sure to say, well, actually, they're not attacks.
Right, they're more like sightings.
Right, so that was a CYA at the end. He's covering his tail.
Right,
so that he can say, well, no. I corrected myself. I said they weren't attacks. What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm trying to make people afraid that they're being attacked? So yeah, this is a deliberate tactic to call something a thing, an attack in this case. Then at the very end of your presentation, when most people have already heard what they're going to hear, you correct it so that it's corrected for the record. And then the presenter does a very nice, good job of covering the network by saying, well, these aren't actually attacks. They're just sightings technically, but, they are incursions. And so everyone's covered, but the narrative still is going out to the people.
Right. So towards the end, she mentions this anti-drone wall. She calls it an ant-drone wall, but we'll talk about it here.
Now, these are more sightings than attacks. Now, Philip, nonetheless, the EU has called for the building of an anti-drone wall. What exactly would this entail?
Well, this is not a wall built out of concrete or bricks and mortar. This is a wall to try to protect Europe against these drone incursions. They are pretty dependent, I think, or they're going to be pretty dependent on Ukraine for helping them do this, because Ukraine has developed anti-drone measures to fight against Russian drones.
They're going to be pretty dependent on Ukraine. So we have these drones flying over Europe, in Denmark and in Germany. Denmark and Germany are right next to each other, and they're close to these Nordic regions and the Black Sea. So they're pretty close, and this is where all the drones are coming in through. It's far away from Ukraine, so they're probably not coming directly from Ukraine, but it is interesting that now that there's all this fear about drones, the most likely partner to deal with these drones is going to be Ukraine, because they've got the infrastructure and the experience to deal with it. These unidentified drones flying over these European countries. So we'll play this last point here.
I think three key objectives here. The first one is the construction of anti-drone bases with the help of Ukraine, situated along Europe's eastern flank, which you can see in the picture here. The drone detectors also then deployed along that border to stop or detect drones trying to penetrate into European airspace. And then the deployment of interceptor drones from the European side to shoot down the drones coming in, because that is a lot cheaper than using missiles or aeroplanes, which are much more costly when it comes to shooting down drones. The problem is that the drones, for the moment, they can get through detection of radar, and they're quite hard to identify, and also can cause damage if they are shot down. That's why the Danish authorities so far say they haven't shot down any drones, because they don't want them to cause damage or hit an aeroplane, and all the drones have gone back to where they came from, and they haven't been identified. So I think this is an ongoing situation, but the finger is pretty much being pointed at Russia right now.
And that is exactly how it was drawn up. Where can we fly drones over Germany and Denmark and not be detected by other European nations? Oh, wait, the European nations don't have the same drone defenses. Who is the country that's developing drone factories and drone defenses? It's Ukraine. I am almost 80% sure that these drones are a Ukrainian sales point to the European Union. If you're not going to fund our war, we're going to scare you into buying our shit so we can fund our war.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree.
That's why the Russians are like, it wasn't us. I'm pretty sure it wasn't us.
Well, think about the fact of these drones being Russian. They would have to either come off of a ship in the Baltic Sea and fly to Germany and Denmark. So you've got the chance of the ship being intercepted with drones on it, and that the fallout from that. Or if you're Ukraine and you get Poland on board, you just drive these drones over to the German border, and then you've got free reign. You just fly them around as much as you want to.
So there's that. But one of the things that led me down this path is, when we were talking about Project Bluebeam, and then all of a sudden there's talking about the White House has confirmed the existence of aliens, and then all of these slow kind of dripping news of alien sightings were leaking into the mainstream, constantly talking about aliens, laughing at first, and then, then the White House justification comes out. It's that exact same play. You start talking about these Russian jets flying over this country, these Russian drones flying into Polish airspace, mysterious drones flying over Denmark and Germany. It's this drip, 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 drip. Oh, that's got to be Russia. That's something Russia would do. And then you have your sales point. You go, all right, now that Russia is clearly comfortable with violating NATO airspace, we have to have some sort of defense to this. And who is the key person for this kind of technology? Ukraine. There you go. That's how the mainstream media uses its platform to lie to you. And the whole point of this segment being on France 24, France 24 and the DW are the same in that they toe the European Union line. And this is a massive narrative that both the DW and France 24 are towing right now. that Russian drones are interfering in our airspace, and we must buy Ukrainian drones to defend ourselves from them. And that is exactly what they want the European public to hear and repeat ad nauseum. So they're okay with it when their budget goes up significantly and they go into more and more debt purchasing these drones to defend against an enemy. This is the original anti-virus software. The antivirus companies wrote the viruses. Here, you need this. You need this to protect from these viruses. That's how it works. You make the boogeyman, and then you sell boogeyman baseball bats.
Boogie traps.
Boogie traps. Yeah. The Ghostbusters. They were the ghosts the whole time. Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, very good. I like that. I like your analysis.
Thank you.
I think you're on track.
I think so, too. That's why I said it.
Yes, I guessed.
All right, what do you got?
I've got, speaking of drones, if we go down to Haiti, we've got a report of a failed drone strike in Haiti.
Ooh. Failed drone strike.
At least 8 children dead in a gang-controlled slum in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince. They were killed on Saturday night by explosive drones targeting a suspected gang leader in Cité Soleil. At least 6 others were seriously wounded in the attack, which relatives and activists are blaming on the police. It was there that the children were sitting with their mother. They were filling the time before going to sleep. Meanwhile, I was behind the house. I heard an explosion. I took a little time to come and see. And when I arrived, I saw the bodies on the ground. 2 of his grandchildren were killed in the explosion. The area is controlled by Vivansam, a powerful gang coalition that the United States has designated as a terrorist organization. Activists say the incident raises urgent questions about accountability, adding that it will only reinforce the coalition's anti-government narrative. Haiti's in the grips of record levels of insecurity, with armed gangs controlling much of the capital.
Now, there's been reporting that this drone strike was carried out by an American contractor. Can you guess who that contractor would be, or who is the owner of the contracting company?
Eric something. What's his last name?
Prince.
Eric Prince. Is it Blackrock or Blackstone? I was getting mixed up.
It was Blackwater.
Blackwater.
Blackwater no longer exists. The new company is called Vectus Global.
Vectus Global, killing small Haitian children. They always come up with some douchey name like that. Vectus Global.
Vectus Global has secured a 10-year contract with the Haitian government to combat gang violence.
Well, statistically, they probably,
combated gang violence
in the future. I'm not going to put that on these 6 kids. It's terrible. It's terrible to joke about it, but that's kind of the world that we've been living in since October 7th. It's just kids getting killed daily.
Yep, that's a fact.
Yeah.
So, why should we care about Haitian kids?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's
not like we have the heart to imagine that they're our own.
Yeah, or that they could grow up to be somebody other than a slumlord, or something like that. They could be good people. They could be moved to a town in Ohio and be preferred over the white workers,
It's a fact.
Yet I digress.
So a big miss from Vectus Global there.
Yep. Turns out those 6-year-olds weren't dealing drugs. they were just having
Speaking
fun.
of engineers, I have a clip from, well, it's a story from Weon out of China. It's in the China folder, and it's about a supposed scientist exodus from the U.S. to China.
Very well.
A new trend seems to be emerging that perhaps carries significant impact as far as the global race for innovation is concerned. Many of America's brightest minds are leaving the country, and the exodus appears to be fueling China's scientific rise. Scientists once working in the U.S. are now packing up their labs and moving to China. According to a CNN report, at least 85 researchers have left American institutions since early last year to join universities and labs in China full-time, with more than half making the switch this year alone.
So I'm going to give you the context that the media is not going to. These are Chinese people.
Yeah.
These are Chinese
Yes,
people
they are.
going back home to China.
In some cases, because they've been made to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll continue it.
Experts are warning that this is not a temporary trend, in fact. Rather, according to them, it is expected to further accelerate, especially as the U.S. funding for research reduces and restrictions on foreign talent tighten. While on the contrary, Beijing is pouring billions into building a science and technology powerhouse. These developments leading to several crucial questions. Can the United States still compete for global talent? And how exactly will this shift impact the race to dominate artificial intelligence, quantum computing, semiconductors, biotechnology, even advanced military technology? Experts are saying that the Trump administration's recent policies are intensifying the exodus of scientists and researchers. Washington is pressing for cuts to research budgets, increasing oversight of university labs, raising the cost of H-1B visas, using federal grants as leverage over institutions. And the uncertainty is reportedly rattling scientists across America.
They're rattled.
Oh, reportedly rattling scientists across America. I'm doubtful of that, like you said.
I'm rattled.
These are Chinese people, ethnic Chinese people, going back to China, either because they know that they need to, or because they've been made to. And 85, give me a break, 85, and you're going to ring an alarm about how there's a brain drain on America's scientists? Yeah, that's not a real thing. And I don't know where Weon gets off on reporting this.
They're India. Yeah, they're trying. Think about the perspective.
Oh, they're mad
of
at us
Weon.
right now. I forget they're mad at us right now.
Also, they want to sell India to America. That's you know, when you look at these international news sources, it's really funny. Like all the European news sources, you know, they just tote the EU line, and so everything is from the EU, European Union perspective. India is an interesting one because they hate Pakistan, and their liking of other countries varies on the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever's going on in the world. America's in trouble. The Chinese are leaving. If only there was another country that had a massive supply of knowledge and brain power.
Research availability.
Customer service experience.
I'm going to give you a guess as to how many modern era scientific Nobel laureates there have been in China.
7.
1.
1. What did he invent?
1. Something biomedical.
Of course.
Yeah. And then about 155 in America. So then we got too much to worry about.
Aren't we the ones handing out the awards?
Not necessarily.
No. Still, that's funny. Yeah, it was like as soon as she's like, the brain drain, people are moving to China. you're supposed to imagine this white guy in a lab coat and glasses.
Yes.
Went over to China. And it's like, oh, no, these are the Chinese people that have come here for school and education and then are going back to China because that was their intended purpose in the first place.
By golly, darling, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. It's time for us to move on. It's time for us to go to Qingdao.
I can't call Trump a fascist. Otherwise, I might get a racist or might be arrested. Let's go to China. That's cool over there. Yeah, that's funny.
Say, you like hot pot, don't you?
I do like hot pot. We got a hot pot place in St. Louis. It is so good. And it's like $20, and then it's like access to all the meat. You just have to not think about how poor that meat is or where it's been stored.
Yeah, put a marker down about a minute ago. I don't think we've got any intro candidates.
Very good. I see you have a recruiting clip in here.
Recruiting?
You got 2 clips in this China folder.
Oh, it's the second part of this WION report. You can play it if you want.
Let's give it a listen.
Many researchers, particularly those with ties to China, are saying they no longer feel secure about their future in the U.S. And China is working deliberately to attract more talent. The official newspaper of the Central Committee of the Chinese Communist Party, in a recent column describing China as a quote-unquote safe harbor for scholars, providing them with the platform to excel, quote-unquote. And Chinese universities are quietly approaching U.S.-based researchers with offers, while others are openly advertising for them. Recently, financial commitment by both countries also reflecting this major push. In recent years, investment by China and the U.S. with regard to research and development, almost similar. In fact, the Chinese president last year said China must become self-reliant in science and technology and pledged to achieve that goal by 2035. And just last month, Chinese officials rolled out a new K visa designed to attract young scientists.
What kind of visa?
K.
I thought she said gay visa. I'm like, oh boy.
Oh. Yeah, they're really trying to get the social studies and humanities researchers.
There, yeah.
Last month.
Hey, we're
Chinese
already communists. Come on.
Rolled out a new K visa designed to attract young scientists and innovators from overseas. With America's best minds
innovators in what way?
And China's labs gaining, the balance of power in science and technology is perhaps shifting faster than Washington expected. Because, say it or not, a country's strength depends not only on its armies and factories, but also on its science and research.
Did I tell you about I think I told you, but I don't think I said it on the show, that some Chinese people have started an LLC at my home address?
No.
Yeah. I get all these mailings from this Strickland Man LLC addressed to my address. I go, well, this is clearly not my mail. So I look up the Strickland Man LLC. I look at the Secretary of State's website, and I'll be damned. It was registered to my address.
Did you report that?
Yes, I called the Secretary of State. I called the office so many times, I couldn't get through at all. So finally, I did the True People Finder, and I found the Secretary of State, and I found his cell phone number online. And I called him, and I left him a message. And a day later, I get a call back from the Deputy Secretary of State of Missouri saying, yeah, Denny asked me to call you back directly.
That's so good.
I was so pissed because he was like, you are 20th in line. Leave a callback number. And I did, and I would never get a callback. And it took me days. And then finally, I just had that stroke of genius, got his cell phone number, and it turns out it was really his cell phone number. And got a call back. So if you want your government to work for you, get their personal cell phone numbers, because I think
TruePeopleFinder.com.
I think that scares them a little. When you're like, hey,
definitely.
I found this online. I'm not here to threaten you or harass you. I just want this taken care of. And I'll be damned. That's how you do it.
Hey, I found your number. Could you do your job?
Right. My dad used to say, we used to have, he's an old Apple guy, like before the iPod and that kind of stuff. And he used to like have a connector or like a power cord wear out. And you could email steve@apple.com and they would send you, they would pretty much, you would say, hey, this is broken. Can you send me another one? And without like a question, they'd send you another power cable or whatever you needed. And it was just like sending it to the CEO's email, which is kind of interesting. So it works. It works when you bypass the usual system and get through to him.
Yes.
Yep. God bless Denny Hoskins. I'm going to vote for him next time.
There you go. And you just told several other people, I'm sure, that live in Missouri about that, and they'll probably vote for him too.
Yeah, you should. I was like, that's how you get stuff done. The department is absolute chaos. The fact that somebody can register an LLC at your address and there's no verification process, yet I have to now submit a sworn affidavit and prove that I live in my home, that I own, and they can look up. But
no, by all means, put the onus on me, the
right.
innocent homeowner,
That's right. The guy,
taxpayer,
the guy who's being frauded. My theory is, and so I looked in, and the registrar papers were sent to another phony LLC, and those registrar papers were sent to another phony LLC. I think it has something to do with bypassing tariffs, because the reason for business was selling goods. So, I don't know. I haven't gotten to the bottom of this Chinese scheme, but it's there, and their name is Chinese. I can tell you that much.
You be careful, Dan, and stay clever.
Has this person ever lived at your address? I always remember this guy asking me the question. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, sir, he's never lived in the United States. I'm pretty sure he's never left mainland China. Just a guess. Just a guess.
Well, you'll have to keep us updated on that saga.
That's right. I will let you know if it is ever dissolved.
Resolved? The LLC
is dissolved.
I mean, the one guy's house they could have picked.
Yeah.
Just pin drop.
I mean, half of my neighbors are like 85 years old and don't even know what's going on half the time. They picked mine, and I'm the one that's like going to be like, not only am I going to get your LLC dissolved, I'm going to follow your LLC trail down and get all of your entities dissolved.
Good for you.
Yep.
That's a real American, folks.
It's a patriot move, folks. It is.
It is.
I'm proud of it.
It is.
Proud of my service. Let's see. We're in Haiti.
I've got one more clip through the night.
Okay.
And it's a story from Al Jazeera on the ICC withdrawal of several African nations.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. I heard about this. Sahelian nations.
Yes, the Sahelians. They're acting up.
Yeah. Once again. Okay. Here we go.
Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger say that they are withdrawing from the International Criminal Court. The three West African countries accused the ICC of being a, quote, instrument of neo-colonialist repression, saying that it only targets less privileged countries. They said they will no longer recognize its authority. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are all led by military governments, and those three governments have said that they will set up what they called
sounds like Antifa talking points.
Indigenous mechanisms in its place.
Yep.
Al Jazeera's Nicholas Hack reports from Dakar in Senegal.
The real
An
black
instrument
bloc.
of
the real, the blackest of the black bloc. Titleist.
Neo-colonial repression in the hands of imperialism. Those are the cutting and strong words used in a joint statement from the Sahel countries. They say that the International Criminal Court delivers selective justice, a feeling shared by other countries in Africa where there seems to be a disproportionate amount of Africans being prosecuted at the ICC. There's been former heads of states, politicians that have spent years in detention to be then released without charge. Now, in the statement, they say that the ICC seems incapable of prosecuting obvious crimes, crimes against humanity, war crimes, but also crimes of genocide, clearly pointing the finger to Israel without mentioning them by name. And so this statement from these three countries to wanting to leave the ICC comes just as weeks ago a delegation of Republican senators visited Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, where there was discussion over the ICC membership. Now, the United States is not a member of the International Criminal Court. And so these three countries now, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, say they will create their own tribunal to try their own crimes of human rights violation away from The Hague, but on their own soil. Nicholas Hawke, Al Jazeera, Dakar.
Ouagadougou is Ouagadougou?
Yes,
that's the
Ouagadougou.
My gosh. What should we call this land? I don't know. Let's ask this baby.
Ouagadougou.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
So it is settled. Yeah, it's time for tea.
Time for tea. I think it's funny that, they're stressing out about these countries leaving the ICC. Meanwhile, the United States of America isn't even in the ICC. The United States started it and said, this is a good idea. Everyone should join it.
For everybody else.
For everyone else. We're out. We're out. And the Sahelians have followed suit.
Have you seen, this is another Africa story that I didn't get a clip of, but I wanted to investigate, and I admittedly didn't. I saw the resurgence, or I saw a flare-up of a talking point out of Africa this week about Christians being killed in Nigeria. And the way it was being discussed, you would think thousands of Christians had been killed in Nigeria. Bill Maher actually said it on Real Time on his show, and he used it as a means for bludgeoning media coverage of such things and saying that there was no media coverage because there were no Jews involved. But he claimed that there were over 10,000 Christians killed since 2009, 18,000 churches burned, so much more. And it's being carried out by Boko Haram. And I couldn't figure out why this all of the sudden is on Bill Maher's mind and being covered. Maybe it just trickled down from Bill Maher and these little independent podcasters and whatnot started talking about it. But I saw it pretty intensely for a couple of days this week. And I couldn't help but think, why is this coming out now? Why is this getting attention? Is it even true that there are Christians that are killed systematically in Nigeria? I've never heard that claim before, but I know there's a lot of atrocities in Africa that we don't hear about. So I was wondering if you had heard anything about that, or if you had any thoughts.
About Christians being killed in Nigeria?
Yeah.
I don't think I have heard about this.
Well, like I said, the most prominent person to talk about it was Bill Maher, I think. And Fox News covered it. But it's interesting that it's in Nigeria because if you recall, a little while back, we covered an advocacy group, an NGO, out of Nigeria, talking about how Boko Haram and the extremist elements that had overthrown Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger were targeting Nigeria next. So that sort of lines up with that strategic goal, if we assume that there is a strategic goal to envelop Nigeria into the Sahelian group. Then if you're trying to combat that, you would want to whip up support for defending Christians in Nigeria, and that would be your front for actually combating the Sahelians in Nigeria.
Yeah, Maher's an interesting fella because he claims to be this leftist kind of liberal guy, but he's like the libertarian that's like, I'm a libertarian, and then he hears what other libertarians are saying. He's like, I hate libertarians. You know what I mean? He's like that for the left. So is he a secret Western plant that's basically saying we need to care about Nigeria because we're fighting for like hell for control of Africa with Russia and China right now?
I mean, it could very well be a play. It could be a seed that he's planting. And he wouldn't have to be knowingly planting a propaganda seed. He could have had it, dropped to him from someone trustworthy. And it just so happens that in his discussions that are on air, he brings it up because, hey, I learned about this. I'm Bill Maher. I enjoy learning about things. And when I learn about them, I'm going to talk about them. So he'd be a great person to sort of drop this onto, to say, hey, Bill, did you know this was going on? And just, eventually he's going to talk about it.
Bill Maher's planted seed of Nigeria. Yeah, I'm seeing reports. Newsweek, 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria this year. Group says. Nigeria-based human rights NGO, International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law. 35 killings per day. International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law. Kind of a shitty name, but who are we? Inter-Society. Headquartered in eastern Nigeria. Okay. So it's a Nigerian entity. A Nigerian NGO. Probably Western sponsored, I'd imagine. I don't have that information. But this website, if they have any budget at all, they're not putting it into the website. It has a
Whose website are you on?
I'm on intersociety-ng.org. It's an NGO, and I would have to imagine that we're funding it. They get a link to Voice of America and Christian Post on there. So are you...
Well, basically, if you're thinking about this geostrategically, you can't let the Sahelians get their hands on Nigeria.
No. You have to have something that makes people care about it. The murdering of Christians is something that the Western, mainly Christian society, or at least used to be, might care about. Yeah, something is not right about this website. Yeah, there's something amiss here. You're on to something here, for sure. We inform, we monitor, we consensitize.
To be honest with you, it's been a trail that I've been sniffing for quite a while because it's been a while since I brought the clip of the NGO spokesperson talking about how the Islamists would be attacking Nigeria. Nigeria was next on their list, and that their NGO needed support. Of course, to aid people disaffected and not disaffected, but displaced and affected by the violence.
That's wild. Their tagline on their website is they have all these things we do, and pretty much one of their points is we form a consensus. We let you know what's happening in Nigeria, so you don't have to look other places. So it would make sense. Nigeria is historically a Western ally. It's got great port access. It's something that the Sahel region is missing with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. So that's probably the play. Like we talked about Ghana and getting into Togo as well. So I think there's something there.
Number one most developed port in Western Africa, Lagos, Nigeria.
It's a big city.
And if you have Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and Nigeria, you've basically got an African superstate.
Yeah, you can move a lot of stuff through the port and then through all of Africa.
Yep.
Eric PP's looking at the website, saying it's registered in 2009. It hasn't had a block of code updated on it since then. I'll tell you that much. You don't see websites this poorly laid out. Everything is designed by templates and AI these days. This is an OG web design. No templates involved.
Yeah, I think this is going to be worth continuing to watch. And the fact that I saw it so intensely over a couple of days in Western media and Western social media, and even heard people in the church talking about it, I think signals that there's an intensification.
And what is the ex-Blackwater group now called again?
Vectus Global.
Yeah. Well, see, I should watch them and their involvement in Nigeria over the coming...
Well, they're not really proving their salt in Haiti if it's a warm-up.
Well, that's exactly why. You got, Trump had a couple of businesses that went tits up.
Yeah.
You drone a couple of orphans. It's not the end of the world. You just try again. All right. What else do I have here? Oh, speaking of Africa, Madagascar having another yaktivist type moment. Did you see that on the news this week?
No.
Yeah, here we go. This is a fun one.
Thousands of young people in Madagascar have poured onto the streets of the capital to protest electricity and water outages. The power cuts often leave homes and businesses without electricity for over 12 hours each day in one of the poorest countries in the world. They are the largest demonstrations the island nation has seen in years. Inspired by Gen Z protests in Kenya, Nepal and Peru, demonstrators blame the government of President Rajoelina for not improving conditions since he was re-elected in 2023.
They say we are a TikTok generation, a generation of idiots. And when we rise up, they don't let us speak out about the country's problems. A message for you, Mr. Andrew Rajoelina. When you led the protest, they let you do it. It was okay. But when we young people fight for the country, you stop us.
And many are now calling for his resignation.
16 years in power, we've given him chance after chance. He makes us drunken promises. All he cares about is himself and his own family. Meanwhile, here we are dying of starvation.
Aided by calls on social media, protesters gathered at a university in the capital before attempting to march through the city, but were met with a heavy police response. Rubber bullets and tear gas were used to disperse crowds. The crackdown drew criticism from UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk. The government imposed a dawn-to-dusk curfew after banks and shops were robbed and set on fire, and the houses of 3 pro-government parliamentarians were torched. On Monday, the country's president acknowledged protesters' grievances.
Maybe we haven't met your needs, or even listened to the cries and fears you experienced. Therefore, in accordance with Article 54 of the Constitution, I have today taken the decision to dismiss the Prime Minister and dissolve his government.
There you have it. It's working. The kids are all right. Well, the kids are all socialists, so good luck, Madagascar.
The kids are alt left.
That's right. All left. There's like this lady that went on a show. Are you all right? Yeah. No, you are all left. What? It'll be interesting to see. At least they're getting some changes in there, but I don't have high hopes for what their vision of the future is for these countries.
We'll see.
Yep, we shall. Moldova election results came back. Guess what? The EU has
Russia lost.
Russia lost. Russia lost.
Moldova's governing pro-Europe party is on course to win parliamentary elections
a key test of whether the small European nation is moving closer to the EU or Russia. With nearly all the results in, President Maya Sandu's West-leaning Party of Action and Solidarity is still short of an overall majority, but the party is well ahead of the pro-Russia opposition bloc, which wants to pull Moldova away from the European Union and forge closer ties with Moscow. The Prime Minister accuses Russia of spending huge sums of money to disrupt the election.
You don't have to hear the rest of it. Basically the same old stuff you hear in all the countries. There's a faction of people that call themselves the Patriot Party or the pro-Moldovan Party. Those, of course, are Russian-aligned, and anyone that actually votes for them are just victims of Russian propaganda and not
Right.
actually their actual beliefs. It would be stupid if, they wanted to do something for their country as opposed to just being another slave for Ursula von der Leyen's empire. But who am I to I'm just a podcaster in America. Don't listen to me, Moldova. Do your own thing.
And they will.
Yeah, they will indeed. Finally, we've got this guy right here. Well, here's the Middle East, and then I'll just talk through the last clip. I don't want to play it, but the Taliban has banned the internet in northern Afghanistan.
Oh, yes.
Probably because what they're seeing about everybody that's using the internet in these countries, the Gen Zs, what they're doing. So, might be a good move on the Taliban's behalf.
All right, Taliban administration has announced an internet ban across northern Afghanistan. That's on Wednesday. The Taliban claims that this ban in Afghanistan aims to prevent immoral activities. This move stems from the administration's so-called concerns over online content, including porn and interactions between men and women online. The internet ban in northern Afghanistan
Show me your bob.
will affect 5 provinces, which are Kunduz, Badakhshan, Baghlan, Takhar and Balkh. These provinces encompass major population centers in the region, specifically targets fiber optic internet connections, while mobile internet through cell phone data will remain available. Former U.S. Ambassador to Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, described the ban absurd. He said that if porn is really the concern, like as in many Islamic countries, it can easily be filtered. The Taliban's recent internet ban is the first of its kind since they took control of Afghanistan in 2021. However, they have previously implemented other restrictive measures such as banning girls from attending high school and also limiting women's employment opportunities in Afghanistan. The Taliban has also formalized a set of strict moral codes, which includes requirement for women to cover their faces, men to grow beards, and prohibition on playing music in cars.
Damn.
So you can still access the internet from your phone?
Evidently. You can't. I don't know. It's dumb. I think they don't want people using Discord. And I think that's kind of apparent. Like, they're like, yeah, porn's an issue, and men and women are, sexting each other, but we don't want Discord. We don't want the activists to infiltrate Afghanistan. But you can grow a beard still. In fact, you have to grow a beard.
In fact, you have to be a beardo.
That's right. But you cannot listen to music in your car. I imagine that makes for lovely 14-hour trips across the desert.
Yeah. There are some people I would like to ban from listening to music in their car.
John, that's racist. That's racist.
That's not racist. It's a quality of life issue.
No, I get it too. I live by a busy street, and every now and then I'll be laying in bed and I'll hear somebody's bass line, and I'm about ready to bust out the back door and mag dump on them.
That's murderous.
It's also racist. Anyway, that's all I have. Oh, there's one thing. Keir Starmer is polling terribly among the Labour Party, and he delivered effectively the soul of our nation speech against like Nigel Farage and the Reform UK Party. You might be familiar with the term "soul of our nation." It's the speech that Biden gave when he had the red
With
lights
the red lighting.
behind
Yeah.
him, and everyone was like, "You kind of look like Hitler." So that was kind of funny. Keir Starmer, the soul of the nation. I don't think you're going to be in power much longer, bud. Hate to clue you in. But good job, Brits. Fight for your country. Fight for your soul. Fight and never stop fighting for your homeland.
What he said.
That's right. I want to be a part of a group that sneaks weapons into countries that don't have weapons. What would you call that?
Fugitives?
I just think about, arming the British Patriots.
It's a noble goal, and it can be done.
I don't want to do it illegally. I want to legally bring them guns.
Well, there's no legally doing it.
Well, you could legally bring guns to international water, and then somebody could come and rob you. Like, oh no, somebody robbed me, and they left me a $2 million check.
But they dropped this.
That's right. That would be the perfect crime. You left port with a bunch of weapons. Yeah, something happened. It's a bad storm, dude. They're all overboard. Could you imagine dolphins with AK-47s? That'd be insane.
Well, I won't make any intelligence comments on that.
It's better than the people that have them now. Too good, my friend. Too good. Another MMO is in the books. Write it down in history. Eventually, these will be used at our tribunals before we are lined up against the wall and shot.
And we will say we were proudly on the offensive for everyone who sent $1 a show.
That's right. And I'll say before I die, burn in hell, Emperor Mamdani. Just kidding. We'll be conquered by China way before that happens. With all the brain drain. But from St. Louis, Missouri, I have been Dan Gehring.
And from America's South Coast, where if you couldn't tell, I'm a little on the mend, I'm John G. Dew.
Well, get better, crush some vitamin C, and we'll see you next Tuesday, God willing. God willing. You never know who I might be the Antichrist for. So, every day, you got to keep Christ in your heart and one in the chamber. It's the only way. MMO. Out. Alrighty. That was fun. And we ended it at a decent time. $50.11. Poor white cracker. Beardos. Better N-words. So UN. Booby traps. Gay visa. The blackest of the black bloc. It's a fun one. Juice box. The kids are all left.
I wrote the real black bloc.
The real black bloc? I mean, that is... We are for sure going to refer to the Sahel as the real black bloc for now on.
Yeah, I think we use the real black bloc as the title.
Perfect. The real black bloc is the title. Chuck'em Long comes in. Oh, man, with a 4-artser. Love it.
I know which one is going to win.
Oh, the first one's good. You like that one?
I like the first one, sure.
second one's funny too, dude. It's well done.
It's the best one.
Yeah. I do like that second one a lot. Third one, it's okay. It's pretty funny. We've done something similar before. And yeah, I like the first one with the Chinese letters, but yes, I concur. I think the Iranian Costco run is the greatest. Yeah, if I burst out laughing with my girl laugh like that, that's probably because it's pretty damn funny. So
yeah. So the real black block.
I love that their carts are full. There's so many of them. There's so many. It's like a real Costco experience. For the town.
The real black block, that art, and we need an intro.
Oh, that's too funny. I'm going to upload the other ones too so people can see.
Is Elise home tonight?
She is.
Okay.
Why?
Because Taylor and Cameron just got home, and I didn't want to make you feel like I was pushing you if you were going to be hanging around.
No. You're not pushing me. Too good. Why I'm not ever going to try. If I ever have to make art again, I'm going to be so mad because I know
it's going to be tragic.
Someone out there with bomb-ass ideas.
I'm sick of it. It's time for us to move on. It's time for us to go to Qingdao. I think that's what I wanted was the first part of that.
Fascist. Otherwise, I might get a racist or might be arrested. Let's Jesus, Dan.
Say, you like hot pot, don't you? Say, you like hot pot. It sounds a lot better tonight. You like hot. Say, you like hot pot, don't you? But I want the original one I wanted was time for us to go to Qingdao. The beginning of that one. By golly, darling, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. It's time for us to move on. It's time for us to go to Qingdao.
By golly, I would do the whole thing. I laughed a little bit, but it's funny.
By golly, darling, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. It's time for us to move on. It's time for us to go to Qingdao.
Let's do that.
Well, I don't think you need to give the whole bit away right on at the front. I think it's just by golly, darling, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. I think that's good enough. By golly, darling, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it.
That whole thing right there.
By golly, darling, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. I think maybe just after the first little bit.
Yeah, gotcha. Okie dokie.
By golly, darling, I'm sick of this.
Perfect. The real black block. That art is too good, man. It's so good.
I mean, unless he is just filthy rich, I hope he never donates because he has given us so much value with his art lately.
I agree. I mean, that is the value. That's the value right there.
Yeah.
At what point do we make him a praetor on art alone?
Well, he might quit if we do that.
Yeah, that's true. Forever art boy. Oh, thank you, Wolf. This is it's so amazing. Like I don't even want to try anymore. It's kind of like me in Python programming. Like I used to be really into Python and doing Python. And then AI came along and it's like writing way better Python stuff than I could ever do. And I'm like, I don't even want to try anymore.
Okay. By golly, darling, I'm sick of this.
It must be quite
perfect.
Well, I need to go. Cameron's really upset about something.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. I will talk to you later.
Sounds good, my man. Have a good night.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye. Alrighty, everybody. I am going to turn on bowl after bowl and pump this podcast out quick. Bowl after bowl. Probably early. Oh, yeah. What do you call it? DH Unplugged hasn't even ended yet.
And your birthday. Don't call me Bob, Shirley.
Oh, great. There was no DH Unplugged tonight.
Okay, so you had lots
Which is
of
good
love,
because I forgot to drop the stream for an additional 5 minutes.
lots of love, and I got
talking about. I never felt like I fully kind of
By
fit
golly,
in with
darling.
anybody as far as like takes on the news. So it was nice to hear people speaking my language.
Yeah, totally. No, that makes perfect sense, man. And you've kind of been around ever since then, huh?
Yeah, I'm definitely have a hardcore douche stink on me that I had to get off. I donated very, very late.
Nice.
But I'm gonna go for knighthood eventually for sure, and join y'all at the round table.
That's what's up. Yeah, we will welcome you with open arms to the round table.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I catch up on some of these strikes coming through on the Boostagrams, by the way. 11,
is that what that is?
11-111. Yeah, every time you hear the bowling strike, that is the sound of somebody sending us a Boostagram.
Whoa. Do you have that set up like automatically? Or are you doing that?
So this is a program called Helipad that Dave Jones wrote.
That's so cool.
And Helipad can be installed on your Lightning node, and it just listens as the boosts come in, and then it will display them in a web browser. And by default, the sound it makes is pew. But thanks to Servo and Booberry, we did a little tinkering into the under the hood and found out a little spot you can switch the MP3 out for a different one.
Hell yeah! I
Customize your noise.
Didn't know y'all were dudes named Ben. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, I mess around here and there, this and that. Always trying to improve on my skill set. I feel like it's pretty niche right now, but these things improve over time.
Totally.
Yeah, so I got 11-111 from Harvhat. He's boosting out a CurioCaster. He's reliably boosting whenever he sees that pod ping showing up that we're going live. 333 from C-Dubs, boosting out of Boost CLI. Oh, here comes another one. C-Dubs boosting out of Boost CLI saying, "We lit."
Oh, hell yeah. I love this. This is like a call telethon. This is sick.
Missouri smash that boost button, says Pfeiffer. I know what you want, Pfeiffer. And finally, we have Mind Blown from NA Millennial. Both of those guys, by the way, boosting out a fountain. Pfeiffer, an 1821 boost. That's the Missouri boost, the Missouri smash boost, because, of course, Missouri was founded in 1821, achieved statehood.
Nice.
And 4,200 from NA Millennial out of fountain, both of those out of fountain. So we appreciate everybody there.
Yeah, thank you, bowlers.
Very cool.
And if you want to join in on that boost action, you can go over. We recommend taking all your clothes off and going to nudepodcastapps.com and getting yourself a brand nude podcast app. Then you can boost, send Satoshis, send Boostagrams, all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be where all the action is. You really want to join in that fun. So
hell yeah, be a cyberpunk, y'all.
That's right. It's the new haps. This is great fun. I really recommend everybody runs Lightning nodes just for this extra ability to surface the Boostagrams a little easier. But I wanted to talk about your split today because we're getting people onboarded onto Albi. It seems way easier than any other onboarding process, especially if they don't run a node yet, and double especially if they just haven't even touched Bitcoin ever before. So, how easy was the Albi thing to get going from your side?
It was awesome, actually. I have it. I think I have two wallets. One is set up to my
I'm
node.
that guy.
As last time we talked, I got to figure out Lightning on my end, but they have made it so easy that you can make your own Lightning wallet right in the Albi thing, and it's like, dude, it was like 3 clicks of a button and it was all set up.
Right? Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, and like the fact that they give you like a custom like email looking signifier to send people is so cool. The whole thing is like
I
really
gotta fix
impressively
this.
awesome.
Yeah, I think this is kind of so right now. Albie, like this is pretty new stuff within the last month or two. Them rolling all of this functionality out, and I think that now that it's here, it's just a matter of spreading the word. But like this
Totally.
is going to be my new go-to for people who are like, what's this? I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah,
gonna say
no,
it.
it's super smart. It's like it's definitely the most seamless like Bitcoin product I've used yet.
Yeah, no, it's really kicking ass. And like you said, you get
Damn it.
one of those lightning addresses that look like an email address that you can send sats directly to. Speaking of which, also, we added a Bull After Bull Albie tag into the bullafterbull.com website. So if you use Albie and you go to bullafterbull.com, you can actually directly boost the site, which
Amazing art.
Pfeiffer did 18 days ago, and I'm only just now. This is like something new that I have to add to my pre-flight checklist of checking things when I thank people. But I want to thank Pfeiffer again because he boosted us an 1821 sat to the website directly. And I'm going to have to find a better way to surface these because I have to pull up the inspector to really read it fully. But he says, in the bulletin, my first boost from Albie, 1821, the year Mo joined the Union. So he gave us the origin story there with I think that's his first 1821 boost came through on the website, and I didn't even see it like a couple weeks ago.
Man, it's so awesome. Like the divisibility of down to like being able to send a couple cents. It means nothing to you, like person. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't hurt to send, and it feels awesome to like just